The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. If you're a sensitive snowflake that may get easily offended, then turn this off immediately. If you want to hear the real truth about the gun culture, then stick around. This is the Armed Citizen Podcast.
What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 255. We are live as always on YouTube and on Facebook, and today's date is Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. If you're out there in the live chat, go ahead and say something. We don't know if you're out there unless you do. If you're new to the channel, new to the show, then make sure you tell us that you're new, and we won't make fun of you too terribly bad. And we hope not to make you any dumber. You know, we can't promise it, but we're going to try. We're definitely not going to make you any smarter, but we're going to try not to make you any dumber. If you want to call or text into the show, yes, you can call or text into the show. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates at Aegis Gun Care. That number is 530-364-4678. If you're a veteran, really anyone, but especially if you're a veteran, and you're in that hole in the darkness and you're looking for that light, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I cannot give you any medical advice, but I can probably be a pretty decent ear and listen and talk you through some stuff. If you are looking for someone that can get you towards some medical attention, remember two things. One, you are not alone in this fight. You have a lot of brothers and sisters out here that are willing and able to help. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So I implore you, please utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255, the Veteran Crisis Hotline. As always, we are spotlighting the United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title United States Marine, see the website marines.com. And as always, we are a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. So go check out all your favorite pro-gun, pro-2A podcasts over on selfdefenseradio.net. Now let me get this off of my ugly mug and bring in our quasi-co-host at this point. Riding shotgun is always with us from the great state of Texas, the tactical leprechaun himself. What's up, Clove?
Yo.
What's up, man?
I'm chilling like a villain, man.
Styling and profiling?
Yeah.
Like that. There you go.
I don't know like what villain. Everybody out there seems to think Thanos, so we'll go with Thanos. Chilling like Thanos.
Thanos is a good one. Man, that needs to be that's a great one. Like Joker, great villain. The one that gets me, that will probably go down as the greatest villain of all time, but he's not, in my eyes, he's not the villain, is Darth Vader. But everyone sees Darth Vader as the villain. Not in my eyes. I think that he's the hero,
Yep. He is the chosen one.
He's a chosen one, and he did balance the Force eventually, Yep. We thought at one point, but spoiler alert.
Well, he didn't. The prophecy never was that it would ultimately be balanced. It was that he would bring balance to the Force, and he did bring balance to the Force, at least for a short period of time.
Like I said, we thought when he got rid of Palpatine or the Emperor, we thought. Later we found out that necessarily wasn't the case, but it is what it is. But yeah, real quick, happy birthday to our favorite squid out there, Keith Gregory. Has had a birthday recently, so happy birthday to him. Real quick, I want to say thanks and hello to all of our patrons and channel members out there. We really appreciate you guys as always. We got a new channel member right before the show started. G Webs became a YouTube member, so thanks, G. Appreciate you very much. If you're out there, let's go run through the crowd real quick, give people time to come in. We've got Mandatory Carry out there, my favorite weirdos out there. Buck, the Tactical FUD, 223 DMR's out there, G's out there. Let's see here. Snob's out there. This is well. Sam of Anarchy. What's up, Sam? RGG's out there. What's up, man? Chris from the 740. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. And I wish it was Shelly, but I think we're stuck with Rod tonight. But we'll take Rod. What's up, Rod? Guns and Barbecues up there. Let's see here. TJ's out there. I don't know if he's working or not. He's got a freaking link if you'd like to join. Check your email, homie. Anyways, let's see here. Charles Faulkner's out there. Says, woo, I'm a former police officer of the Baltimore Police Department and Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran. Thank you for your service, sir. We appreciate you very much. Let's see here. Who am I missing? Keith Gregory's out there. TJ, I think I said all of them. Marcus is out there. See, Marcus thinks he's watching This Week at Gear Report. He comes in with the 3 Yo's. I don't want the 3 Yo's. I am okay with the single yo acknowledgement. I don't need overachievers. I'm okay with mediocrity. So a single yo is just fine in this house. Don't let Jeff get you hooked on the 3 Yo's. I do not require the 3 Yo's. Let's see here. Going through, I think I might have skipped a few. I apologize if I skipped a few. It keeps jumping on me, but that's all right. Clove, since you're riding shotgun as always, what is this week's shotgun of the week?
Let's go with one that I don't break out of my collection very often, but pretty cool. So, I'm a fan of H&R break actions, obviously. Mm-hmm. Let's go with the H&R Huntsman, which is
H&R Huntsman.
On the outside, you would think, oh, it's a break action shotgun. It's actually a muzzle loading break action shotgun. And they started building
H&R Huntsman?
Yeah. It's not a modern thing. I actually started building these, I think, back in like the 70s or something like that.
Okay.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little shotgun. So go search the H&R Huntsman if you're interested.
You would never know just by looking at it from afar without cracking it open that it was a muzzle loader, but it's got a breech block in there, and it's got a breech block in there, and you open it, and put the primer in the or the cap in there, and
damn. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how you been doing? You doing all right?
I've been better.
Okay.
Woke up to a leaking water heater this morning, so that's fun.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So far, the plumber has not called me back, which I called him before lunch. So
of
we'll
course.
See.
Why?
So
why
we'll
would
see.
he do that?
Yeah.
Why would he want to call you back? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, hopefully that gets fixed soon. I know that. That sucks, man. We got was it actually a couple years ago? Somewhere a couple years ago, our hot water heater went out, and we decided to go to a tankless hot water heater, and that is the best decision we ever made by far.
Man, since we go propane, it's like
we're on propane too. Yeah.
I don't know about going tankless with a propane, because don't you need, with the ignition and all of that, doesn't you, like, if your lights go out, you're screwed still, right?
No, you can manually get it going if you need to, but the problem with that is if your electricity goes out and you manually ignite it, you're gonna have to go and manually turn it off. It's not gonna be one of those things that once you turn the water off and all of that. So the cool thing about the great thing about tankless is you're never gonna run out of hot water. It just heats it as you need it. And they're great. Like I said, that's the best decision we ever, as far as home appliance stuff, best decision we ever made. My wife been wanting one for a long, long time. And this time, my sweetheart's out there. Hey, Fix, how you doing? When ours went out, we were like, you know what? If we're going to do it, let's do it. And we actually found one at Lowe's or Home Depot, one of the two, online. And our plumbing guy came out and installed it for us. And man, it's wonderful. Love it. So I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying, don't be afraid to look into one. They're really, really, really great. So, Marcus says his shotgun, I'm starting to get rashes already, but he says his shotgun for August that the family is loving is a CZ Sharp Tail Coach gun. You familiar or have any experience with that one there, Clove?
Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah. I know CZ makes pretty much good everything, but their shotguns are apparently surprisingly good. So
yeah, they are.
You don't when you think CZ, you don't think shotgun. You know,
Yeah, you don't.
when you think shotgun, you're thinking, well, you're either thinking like the Benelli Beretta era, or you're talking about the Remington and Mossbergs and all of that. But apparently, I've never I might have shot one. If I did, I didn't do it knowingly. But I don't, to my knowledge, I've never shot a CZ shotgun. But I heard they're pretty nice.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, as you guys know, every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday, we put out our Ghost Tactical polls out on our YouTube community tab, and we have some fun. We usually have two of them that are kind of fun, and then one that is related to the channel and all of that stuff. So, let's go through this week's polls. Last Thursday, 2,000 votes. What is your favorite style of food? You have Mexican, Japanese, Italian, Chinese, or other. Do you have a favorite? I think I know what you're going to say, Chloe, but do you have a favorite kind of ethnicity of food that you like?
So, Mexican and Chinese, actually, for me, are fairly close. Now, that being said, I live in Texas, so
barbecue.
It's out of the two, it's Mexican. But barbecue, was that on the list?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because there's all kinds of barbecue as well.
If I would have put barbecue down there, that would have been a landslide victory.
Yeah, but barbecue depends on where you're at.
Well,
you know what I mean?
The South, yeah. In the South, it's a thing. Up north, I think they have it and they enjoy some barbecue. Down south, and especially in Texas, like barbecue's a way of life almost. You know.
Yeah, but yeah, so. I mean, I dig on some Chinese food, but yeah, Mexican takes the taco, so to speak.
And I think the crowd, 2,000 voters agreed. Mexican with 42%, Italian coming in second place with 26%. I think there's a lot of pizza lovers out there. Japanese and Chinese come in at 12%. And other at 7%. And there were 47 different comments. And a lot of them were saying American, American. I get. But what is American food? Like, to me, when I think American, it's hamburgers and barbecues and hot, something you can cook on a grill. But honestly, like steaks, barbecue, burgers and dogs, that's American to me. But there's really not like an American cuisine. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of that is influenced by other things, and it really, if you ever want to get, what's the word, patriotic, nostalgic, whatever, with like the whole American experiment, and the melting pot and all that, just look at food. In this country, and I mean, it's obvious.
Absolutely,
it's pretty crazy. What I was going to say is that 42% that agreed with me on the Mexican food. Just want to remind those folks hashtag Tulsa Mexican food sucks.
Sucks. Yes. And snobs out there, and as much as he likes to argue with this, he has to admit that there might be the occasional place in Tulsa that's decent. One, we haven't been there yet. And two, when you have to sit there and say, well, there's a couple that are good, that's not really good, because at worst there's a couple that aren't so good, but the rest of them are good. That's, when you only have one or two that's good in an entire city, that's probably not good. Okay, so Marcus threw out this. Okay, I could see that. Fried chicken, that's probably Americana as well. Sure. Fried anything is basically America.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, when I think Americana food, for me, it's grill. It's something, burgers, dogs, chicken. You could grill chicken, steaks, barbecue, and all of that. That's, to me, that's American food. It is what it is. But yeah, our next poll was, where would you rather vacation? We're going to talk cities here. London, Rome, Tokyo, Paris, or Vegas, baby. Clove, of those, if you were going to go pick one of these to vacation in.
We go to Vegas every year, right? So I'm going to
Sure,
throw that one
sure.
out the window just because it's like, don't get me wrong. Absolutely enjoy my time there. But
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
had a conversation actually about this not too terribly long ago with, I think, some family members or something. And,
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, Japan, I'd really like to go maybe to Japan. So Tokyo probably for me.
Yeah. Japan, obviously, I am biased. Love Japan.
Well, like
People are
they're
great.
really
Food's
modern,
phenomenal, but they're
right? It's like a
yes
really
and no, and
modern.
but that's the really cool thing about Japan. They're going to have really, really modern technology and buildings and all that built around thousands of year old temples
Right,
and castles. And
right,
so they're very, very modern, but they also live in a very old school culture that is big on tradition and big on all of that stuff. So, yes, they are a modern city built around a
right.
very old culture, which is awesome. That's the cool thing about Japan.
Yeah, it's like,
Um,
you look at London. What was the other one? London and like Rome.
London, Rome,
And so
Paris.
out of those two, Paris, I could freaking care less.
Nah,
But out
yeah.
of London and Rome, I mean, Rome by far, right? It's just because of history and everything. But
Mhm.
here's the thing. I mean, Japan, like you said, they've got that blend of modern Western plus the old history. Whereas Rome,
Correct.
everything I've ever seen is like, it's just the old history, right? It's like
Yeah.
there's no modern. And then it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just a perception I get. I think the people in Japan would be a little
People
more
are
fun,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, here's the cool thing about the Japanese is they don't expect you to speak their language. Like the stories go in Paris, like they make fun of anyone and they just look down upon if you don't speak French. Okay, it is what it is. Japanese, they don't expect you to speak their language. What they do expect is two things. One, try. So the first thing I did when I got over there, we learned about 20 words. We were given 20 words that we needed to learn. Please, thank you, nice to meet you, different stuff like that. You're welcome, all of this stuff, And we had this list of 20 words that if you use these words and you try to use them when you can, they'll
Right.
respect that. And they'll appreciate that.
Mhm.
More importantly, they want you to respect and appreciate their traditions and cultures.
Right.
If you do that and you don't disrespect them, they
Right.
will bend over backwards to help you and make you feel welcome.
Right.
That's my experience, obviously.
Right. Right. So just be a good guest, basically, is what they're
Be a
expecting,
good guest. Absolutely. Be a
and
good
they're okay
guest
with it.
and you'll be fine. London for me, I've been to London very brief. One thing about London, I don't think, and I don't think that the food will be good there. Right? I'm not a big fish eater, so the fish and chips thing, I'll eat the French fries, but they don't put ice in their sodas. They don't serve cold beer, whatever. It's just like, that doesn't sound good to
They
me.
call
It
their
is what it
cookies
is.
biscuits, and I don't even know what they call their biscuits. You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't even know
really?
if they have biscuits over there.
Right.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Right. Right.
And then Rome. Now, here's the thing about Rome. Not necessarily the city of Rome. I'm more interested in like Venice, Florence, and all of that. My wife and I have always said if we ever do like retire and just want to go take like a 2 week, obviously not to Japan. We've been obviously she's from there, but somewhere we've never been. We want to go to Italy, and it's for not the history. Although I'm a big history. I would like to see some of the old Roman Empire and stuff like that. I'd probably go if I could while I was there for at least a day or two. Go over to Athens, Greece, and see the old relics of ancient Greece, which I think would be awesome. But Italy would be for me simply because of the food. I would love to eat over there. And I had a buddy of mine from here that was over there for their 30th wedding anniversary, I don't know, a few months ago, and they were there for about 10 days. And he said the food was amazing, but it is not what you would expect because what most Americans, as always, even with Mexican food, but what most Americans expect out of your local Olive Garden is not how they eat over there. A lot of like anchovies and stuff like that are an authentic Italian food. But yeah, I would love to go to Italy and eat food. That's probably of this list. You know, been to Japan, obviously. Have no desire to go to Paris. I think Rome/Italy would be where I would choose. 35% in first place agreeing with Clover is Tokyo. 35% say they want to go to Tokyo. 28% say Rome. A little surprising. 21% say Vegas. Love Vegas, but yeah, I guess I would put it third, even though I've been there. I mean, a ton of times. I think I'd put Vegas above London and Paris. So I think I would agree with that. They have Paris coming in fourth place at 9% and London at 8%. I probably flip those. I'd rather go to London than Paris. But other than that, I'd probably agree with all of that. Tokyo, Rome, Vegas third, probably. It sounds bad. We go to Vegas every year, and I've been many, many, many times. I got married in Vegas. I have no desire to go to Paris. Absolutely none whatsoever. So there you go. 1.9 thousand votes on that. Thank you guys. And the poll that went out yesterday's got a little over 1,000 votes in a day. Coming off a video we put out over the weekend have a little fun. Do you consider yourself tactical or a FUD? Clove.
Not even going to dignify that with an answer.
Consider we call him King, or actually, no, we don't call him King FUD anymore. He's Super FUD.
I think the chat knows what's up. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Right. No, I hear you. 68% of the people picked the right answer, tactical. 32% chose the wrong answer, FUD, but that's okay. We'll let you stay. We won't kick you out.
I sort of agree with that percentage. That's basically a third and 2/3, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And I think
that's probably about right.
I think that's about right because I would say that's fair. I agree with that poll.
And Buck, I mean, he's called the tactical FUD, so I guess he could say he's both. You know,
it's kind of like being a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll or something.
A bit rock and roll, sure, yeah. Now would he be Marie?
Here's the thing. Okay. You see more FUDs that are accepting and knowledgeable about tactical than you see more tactical that are accepting and knowledgeable about FUD. I'm just saying that FUDs are more inclusive. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say something that you have pointed out to me numerous times in the last couple of years. I think more of the tactical guys are more FUD than they think.
Right.
There are very few FUDs that are going to go and be tactical. There are some, but there are fewer FUDs that will cross that line into tactical than there are tactical people that cross line to FUD. But most of the tactical guys that cross the line to FUD don't really understand that they are to some extent. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, you got.
There's a lot of tactical FUDs out there. What's that? No, what I'm saying to you is I think that there are a lot of tactical guys that have FUD. How do I put this?
Well, that's what I just said. So because
but they don't know it. But they don't know that they have FUDish tendencies.
It's built right into what I just said. Because FUDs are more open-minded about tactical firearms and that sort of thing, and more knowledgeable about that, right? Than the reverse, right? In a way, the tactical guys are FUDs in the connotation that people like to use it because they're not being inclusive. They're not broadening their horizons or anything. So they're kind of in their own shell, right?
Yeah, I was on is it CR42? I think that's his name. Man, I'm sorry. It's been a while. like a year and a half ago, he asked me to be on his podcast, and he's a hunting guy down in Texas. And he was talking more about military stuff. He never knew much about the military stuff. He was asking questions about all that, and he's a big hunter and all that. He's a self-proclaimed FUD down in Texas and all that. We started talking about it. I said, look, here's the thing. You know, what you're explaining to me is talking about, he was talking about all year. If you're a big hunter, then it's a year-round process, whether it's prepping the land or putting out decoys or putting out the feeders and tracking where the animals are at certain times of the day and all that stuff, and then setting up the stand or setting up the blind or setting up this and doing that, and then getting clothes that and then getting stuff that makes sure that they can't smell you, and all of this stuff that goes into a hunt, right? Now, once again, I've never hunted an animal, so, I'm speaking out of ignorance here, but all of the stuff that he was talking about, and I said, that sounds kind of eerily familiar. He goes, what do you mean? And I said, you are probably more tactical than you think, and you show a lot of traits that would make you probably a good person in the military. All that stuff that you're talking about, spending the 6 months between, this 8 months between seasons, and prepping the land and putting out trail cams and setting out decoys, all of that is surveillance and reconnaissance. That's all it is in military terms. Right. Then you've put on the right gear and make sure that you can't smell you or whatever and all that. Well, guess what? That's cover and concealment, and then you're talking about taking a shot from a couple hundred yards, whatever. And I said, well, that's sniper school. And he was like, oh, I didn't think about this. And I said, yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of similarities in things we do. We just call it different things, or we have different missions, or we have different objectives. But the hunt is a hunt, whether it's a human or it's an animal. The workup is the same. You want to make sure that your weapon systems are working well. You want to make sure that your tactics are good. You want to make sure that you've got enough trigger time to make sure that you're set up, your rifle's zeroed. You've got good trigger control. All of this stuff. All of that is prep work. All of that is a workup towards the mission. And for us, a mission is something different than the hunters, but it's still a mission. The hunt's a mission. So it's an interesting, you can see a lot of parallels. We call them different things, but it's all the same. It's kind of interesting. He's like, I never thought about that way, and I was like, yeah, man.
What I hear you saying. What I hear you.
What
saying
do you hear me saying? I think you're full of shit. But what do you hear me saying?
What I hear you saying here is stop labeling people. Quit putting people in boxes.
Booyah! Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah. All right. Let me get eating this ice cube real quick. Let's see here.
You're welcome, audio podcast world.
Yes, you are. Let's see here. Mandatory here. He said the poll is rigged. He basically earlier said if anyone chooses Vegas, they're crazy. Vegas is a really cool town. There are just
machine guns, aren't there?
Yes, there are. Just like any other city outside of the tourist attractions, it's a hellhole and a shithole, just like any other big city. There are bad parts, but Vegas is a fun town if you know how to do it right. You can have a lot of fun in Vegas without gambling, put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. Sandy out there says he's more of a tactical FUD as well. He says, I guess I'm kind of a little buck then.
Would that be a fawn? Just saying.
Well, I want to start calling you No, I want to start calling him Bambi. Start calling him Bambi. What's up, Bambi? Let's see here. This is not necessarily true. Tactical, but he has a deep appreciation for old rifles. So having a deep appreciation for old stuff, that was part of my video. And I said, tactical guys like the modern guns and the FUDs like 1911s and M1 Grands and Springfields and muzzle loaders and all that shit. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of shooting all of those old style guns, but appreciating and respecting them 100%. I mean, I've been trying to get an M1 in the stable for a long. I'm not going to pay the prices they are right now, but yeah, Warsaw's and M1s that also tactical. It was when it came out for sure. The Springfield, the 1903 Springfield was tactical as hell when it first came out. Then imagine the 1911 Clover. When the 1911 first came out, it was introduced to the military. That was that was something they'd never seen before. Like, what in the world? I mean, that was as tactical as it came back in the day,
Yep. You can fire that fast from yeah.
Absolutely. Sandy says, I'll take that. Bambi grew up to be a stud. Well, you got never mind. So you got a lot of growing up to do there, Sandy. But no, we're gonna start calling you Bambi. He's a little buck. So there you go. All right. So tonight's discussion is something that most of you guys know. I'm in a lot. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. But when I check in on Facebook, I go to a handful of groups that I'm a part of. I don't really post a lot of stuff. No offense if you guys are noticing, I do post stuff on Facebook. Most of that stuff is automatically posted from Instagram and all of that. I don't spend a terrible time amount on Facebook. When I do, I'm in some groups, and I like to kind of check in with these groups and people asking questions and all that. And I like to see. I don't necessarily. How do I put this? I don't interact inside the conversation a whole lot unless I have something that I think that actually can bring up. Most of the time, I just like the questions, and I like looking at some of the answers that people give. Unfortunately, that's when I do have to step in sometimes to give my 2 cents, because there's a lot of people that give a lot of bad advice on Facebook. So, but one of the questions, I know, I know that's hard to believe.
Abraham Lincoln just posted a post the other day and said you can trust people on Facebook 100%. So
100%, 100%, yes. Yeah, wow. I want to say the only thing that's worse than Facebook is Twitter. Well, TikTok's strange.
pretty bad.
I'm not on TikTok. I've never been, I don't get it.
TikTok just depends on if you find your groove or whatever there. Like my wife is big into TikTok, but there's apparently
she found our new favorite barbecue place in Vegas on TikTok.
I'm telling you. But yeah, she's into, there's a lot of folks that apparently craft and things, and she's into that. And then the medical community and stuff is big on TikTok and all too. So she doesn't go off into the crazy weeds or anything over there. She, it filters and gives her what she watches, right? The algorithms and stuff there. So I mean, I get it. I guess
Carrie is correct. Reddit's the worst. You're right. Reddit is the worst.
Yeah, Reddit's pretty bad.
Whew. But yeah, but anyways, in one of my Facebook groups, something like some concealed carry and different everyday carry type groups and all of that, gray man groups and stuff. Question, and it pops up, at least once a month, and I usually don't see all of them, but I did happen to catch this, and it always sparks up a really good conversation in these groups, even though it comes around all the time, but they never really, well, some people do. Oh man, I'm going to answer this for the 1900th time. Well, you know what, dude? Someone's always new, and they're always going to ask a question. At least they're asking questions. Question comes up, is like, hey, if I was going to put together like an EDC bag, like what's the basic necessities that you should have in an EDC bag? And this could go down a road. We talked about survival gear last week. And when I think EDC bag, I don't think survival gear. I think just stuff that, you can carry with you that is not a survival, but is more of a self-defense, first aid kind of situation. So the first question I want to ask you, Clover, is in your mind, when you hear the word EDC gear or everyday carry gear, like what's the first thing like that comes to your mind?
You're talking about specific items or just
no. Like if someone says I want to put together an EDC bag, like are you do you think like survival stuff, or is it more
that's totally different, right? When somebody says I want to put together an EDC bag, like I'm thinking like self-defense daily carry type stuff. If you just say, what's your EDC gear, or
Yeah.
somebody just says, my first, it's literally, it's what do you carry every day,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
EDC,
Yep. That's
everyday carry.
exactly
So it's what do I
everyday
carry
carry.
every day? So that's a flashlight, a pocket knife. If you get into the gear, right? Like
Right.
self-defense for me is not primary for sure. I don't know where it falls, but the
Well,
whole, I mean,
I
I
get
can
that.
leave here. I can leave here. And if I leave my gun behind, I'm probably going to be okay. But if I leave, other things behind, I'm screwed. So,
Yeah.
it's a priority. Like, what are the things that I'm most going to need to get through my day? Right.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
everyday
and
carry.
I think that absolutely, and you bring up an excellent point, because people that are watching this or be listening to this podcast later are probably from a similar mindset, whether it's in our community of firearms and all of that. So I think that someone like us that love like guns and we carry and all that, when people in our community hear everyday carry, guns going to be in the top probably three things, but an average person that doesn't own a gun and all that, you ask them, hey, what's your everyday carry contents? They're going to say, oh, definitely cell phone. They might have a flashlight. Some people might carry a pocket knife, but they're going to be thinking, like cell phone, portable charger, stuff like that, cable, charging cables. That's more important for everyday carry than knives or guns or pepper spray or whatever. So it depends on your background, what kind of lifestyle you lead. Like I said, everyone's different. I think that if you ask people that are going to be listening and watching this, I would say probably that gun is a top 3 to 5, at least a top 5 item that would show up in most people's lists. But
Yeah, I would agree. Top five.
My wife, if I say what's your everyday most important stuff that you want to make sure you have with you at all times, obviously a gun or a knife isn't even making a top 100 list,
Right.
Real quick, little shout out to G23. Thank you, brother. This is for the men, women, down range. 40 Smith & Wesson is king, and 10 millimeter is better than 9 millimeter. He knows all Ron Burgundy it, so whatever. Thank you.
At least he's half right.
It's debatable. 10 millimeter. Okay, I'll give you that 10 millimeter is better than 9 millimeter. I enjoy 9 millimeter better. That doesn't mean it's better, but I would say a 10 millimeter is a better millimeter than 9. The 40 Smith is king is just pure blasphemy.
That's why I said he's half
And
right.
and I think he should. I think he should be banned permanently. I think that he needs to be checked in into a straitjacket facility with padded walls to think that 40 Smith is king. So there you go. Yeah. Now, mandatory carry says my gun is number 2 item, and Fix doesn't know Reddit. They're having a little argument right there. And Sandy says 11 millimeter is better than 10 millimeter. I can never find the damn thing. So, Artak and Daughters is out there. What's going on? So, yeah. And it's just like I said, it's one of those things where everyday EDC means so many different things to so many different people. So what I thought we would probably talk about a little bit tonight is from our point of view, maybe not every day, but what are in everyday carry, your everyday items might change over the years, so you're never going to have the same thing all the time, but do you carry, obviously knife, flashlight, stuff like that are on your person, but do you have like an EDC bag that is in your vehicle? Not a go bag necessarily, but an EDC bag that, do you have stuff in, or even just stuff in your vehicle that are around that you would consider EDC items that do you have at your disposal at all times?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the truck, I mean, I've got my lockout kit. I mean, you definitely got to have the lockout kit.
Sure.
There's a certain amount of tools, there. If you're talking about the vehicle, there's lots of things. If you're talking about like some kind of a bag I carry around outside of like a personal range bag, for that particular purpose. It's like, no, I don't have some bag I carry around. Now, depending on the situation. I mean, an example is here. So I had to take the car in for service not long ago, right? And so, I always make the appointment very first thing so I can get the heck out of there. But I don't know how long I'm going to be. Am I going to be an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours? I don't know how long it's going to take, right?
Yeah.
So I do take a bag for that, but that's not an everyday carry, right?
Sure.
But I
Absolutely.
do because it's like, okay, I don't know where I'm going to go, or if I'm going to hitch an Uber or walk over here or do this. And so there's certain things that I want to make sure I have: a battery for the cell phone, the cable, the other things. And so I'll take
Right.
a little backpack or something with me for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we probably all have stuff that are in our vehicles at all times, tools, and I've got all sorts of stuff that are in my vehicle, first aid kits, tourniquets, and all of that. Actually, first aid kit, I have trauma kits in my vehicle. My small little bag. It's a really small bag. This is from Wilder Tactical. Great little bag, but it's pretty simple. Tourniquet, first aid kit in that pouch. Those are pretty simple. And I don't care what background you have, everyone should have at least a first aid kit. You don't have to carry a tourniquet, but at least a first aid kit. Everyone should have one of those in your vehicle. Whether it leaves your vehicle or not, everyone should have one in your vehicle. Little small pouch up here. I know it sounds weird, but a Sharpie, these things can write on pretty much anything. I've got a flashlight, a pocket knife, and here's, people know me, a bunch of gummy bears. I always have gummy bears.
And honestly, all that, and I know you got it all there kind of in one place, but all that needs to be a part of your first aid kit, to be honest, or your med kit or whatever. Right?
Sure.
Sharpie
absolutely.
knife, besides my EDC, right? Sharpie knife. What else did you say? Something to eat, gummy bears.
I got gummy bears, but I mean, whatever, granola bar, whatever you choose to have as your snack if you need something.
Yeah, flashlight, all of those things. I actually got a headlamp in my med kit because what are the odds you're using your hands, right? And so if you're using your hands, you need some type of a hands-free light. So I don't carry a flashlight in my med kits. I have one of those headlamps.
Yeah.
But I do have a light. So above and beyond what's on our person.
Oh yeah, this is not what's on my person. This is just in this thing. I carry several different knives for different sizes, different things that you have to have. I've turned into a knife guy over the years, so I've always got several blades. And this is not on my person. And then the main compartment, I've got bottles of water, handguns, some paracord, magazines, and all that stuff in that one. Real small, but real easy to have. I'm not a guy that likes to carry a whole lot of stuff on me. I'll carry a pocket knife. So my EDC there, I carry a flashlight. One I'm using, I love some stream lights. I think the one I'm carrying now is an LA police gear light. I really enjoy that. But yeah, on my person, I don't carry a whole lot. A knife, and then when I carry the gun and all that. But I don't carry extra magazines on my person. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't ever do that. But what I will say is, for me, and I'm going to bring you in, let you into this. I know there's a lot of people that will carry an extra magazine or even multiple extra magazines on their person. And a lot of holsters are built like that now, where they have holsters that will carry an extra magazine or two magazines or whatever. I've never been a person that carries extra magazines, and I always have extra magazines available around me or in close proximity. But on my person, I've never. if you're carrying, to me, I carry a 15. Actually, it's a 17+1 capacity. And maybe it's just me, but if I'm going through 17 rounds and I'm still in a firefight in a self-defense situation, things probably aren't going to end well. In all honesty, and I'll carry.
I feel that way with 5, but okay.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that if I carry a 17+1 gun, and that's not enough for me, I'm going to have to come to the quick realization that this might end badly for me or whoever I'm trying to defend. That's just me. Now, once again, in my truck, I always will have my little AR pistol. So I work with the mentality of you use your handgun to get to the long gun. Now, in this situation, the long gun is a 5.5-inch AR pistol, but it's a longer gun, longer capacity AR platform. Use your handgun to get to the long gun. So if I can use my 17 rounds to get to my vehicle, then I'm probably getting my vehicle and leaving. If for some reason I get to my vehicle and I can't get out, I can't leave, and I still need to do something, now I've got a 30-round, AR pistol magazine that is going to be able to do the same thing. So for me,
what is the scenario, and then what is the odds that you have to fight your way to the vehicle and then continue to fight? By the time you get to your vehicle, would you not be out of danger in most cases?
That's what I'm saying. If I can get to my vehicle, I'm probably leaving. I'm getting the hell out of there.
Gone, yeah.
And I get what Sandy's saying. He's saying, the main reason for magazines is for failures and not for extra ammo. I get that. But here's the thing. This is just mine. This is just me. What's up, Chase, by the way? Chase had a long weekend. And parts undisclosed, but welcome to the dark side, my man. But for me, I'm not going to say anything derogatory towards other people. I'm not looking to get into a firefight, first of all. If something happens and someone is in my local Walmart or something, they start shooting at the place, I'm taking me and whoever's with me and my family, and we're going to try to find the nearest way out and get the hell out. I'm not going to stick around to try to end this guy's life. Unless my life or my wife's life or daughter, or whatever, is in imminent danger, I'm not going around being freaking super bad security force inside Walmart trying to hunt down a bad dude. I'm not going to do it. I want to try to get the hell out of there. If I'm in the use where my gun, and I'm in that situation and my gun fails, the magazine fails, well, first of all, if you're doing it enough, you should be able to clear a malfunction in your handgun. If you can't fix a malfunction in your firearm, then a new magazine ain't gonna help. I'm not trying to talk down to anyone, but if you cannot clear a malfunction, whether it's a stovepipe, whether it's a failure to feed, a double feed, whatever it is, and you can't fix that malfunction in your handgun within 30 seconds to a minute, an extra magazine isn't going to fix anything. At that point, you probably just need to find cover or get the hell out of there. That's just me. Now, I have no problem people carrying extra magazines for whatever reason, whether it's for extra capacity, if it's for just in case there's a malfunction. I get that. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I have magazines in that bag. I have magazines in my vehicle that I can, if I can get there, first of all, I get to my vehicle. Once again, I'm probably getting the hell out of there. But for me, I'm just saying that it is what it is. I'm not one of those guys that feels like I need to walk around life with an extra magazine just in case there's a failure. I'm going to work that failure. I'm going to try to clear whatever malfunction that is. And if my gun is inoperable, a new magazine is not going to fix that problem. To me, at that point, I'm going to try to figure out how to get cover or get the hell out of there. So before we go back, what's up, Chase? How you doing, man? You tired a little bit, man? You've had an interesting weekend with travel.
What's going on, man? Yeah, it's been a busy last few days, but I'm doing all right. I just got like up here and settled down a little bit. There's a little Buffalo Trace left, so tonight will be an okay night.
Yeah, when you're either stuck in the airport or stuck, the only thing that's worse than being stuck in an airport on a delayed flight is being on the airplane and being stuck in the terminal or on the taxiway, and you're grounded for weather or whatever, and you're actually already on the plane. That's the only thing that's probably worse than being stuck in a delay at an airport, and you get to experience both in the same day.
Yeah, that was super fun with all the storms that ran through Florida. It was over 4 hours of hanging out in an airport and on a plane. And I didn't get to my hotel. Like, I didn't hit the bed at my hotel till 3 a.m. And I was
because you had to go set up, didn't you?
Yeah, I was up at 6:30 and I was setting up at 7.
Yeah, buddy.
We've had show the whole time. So, for the guys that don't know, how the industry works. I was at a buy group show. There's, tons of dealers that are members of buy groups. They come and buy products from the industry, and that's how they turn around and sell them to the general public.
So basically, it's a bunch. A buy group would be a bunch, 10 to hundreds of, let's say, gun shops that are join a group together so they can buy things in bulk. Yeah, bulk and better prices.
Correct.
Yeah,
and it was a pretty good show. I was pretty happy with the turnout and how it went down. So
I do know that we were on the phone when you were in the airport. I guess that was what, Saturday? Was that Saturday you flew out? I think it was Saturday. Yeah. We were on the phone.
It was supposed to be Saturday early Saturday evening, and it turned into Saturday night. But
yeah, this is true. Yeah, we were talking Saturday night when you were getting ready to board it before you got grounded while on the plane. At this point, you'd been in the airport for a while, and you met the great Karen that's always there, that doesn't understand that just because your flight is delayed doesn't mean that other flights are going on. If your flight's delayed because of weather, then every flight is delayed. And I could hear in the background going kind of irate, not understanding why she can't just jump on another plane. And there's always that one that at least you had some comedy relief there,
That was a good time. I mean, at least I got a show with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, show and a $27 hamburger, but you get dinner and a show at the airport if you want it.
That's true. I mean, she was absolutely losing her shit because she just couldn't jump on a plane and leave. I'm like, do you not see the monsoon outside? Because I do.
The entire airport is grounded. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're not going to let Delta out, but we're going to let United out. Not a problem. It's just the Delta planes we're going to ground. Yeah.
It was stupid.
I hear you.
Like, shut the ramp down because like cloud to ground lightning is like blowing up all over the place and whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. So Marcus, going back here, Marcus says all my bags have the lighters. Oh, and lighters. That's another good thing. I smoke, so I'm always going to have a lighter. Fire, like Beavis, or Butthead. I can't remember which one it was. Beavis always said fire. All my bags have lighters, fire, knives, and axe. Wow, an axe. Okay. Water, granola bars, batteries, a flashlight. And I think that even in today's society, I don't care who you are, I think that phone charging cables and portable chargers are one of those items that everyone's probably going to have around these days, because God forbid, people go 10 minutes without their phone working. So it is what it is. Now, Sandy says, I usually don't have spare mags on his pocket. Never far away. Yeah, never far away. Exactly. Sam says, and by self-defense class, I mean boxing or martial arts of some sort of Krav Maga, judo, BJJ, if they have those available nearby. If you can go and take a self-defense or just be familiar with how to, you don't have to learn how to kick someone's ass. What you need to do is learn how to get away from someone. If someone grabs you or someone attacks you, how to get away from that person is just as important as learning how to kick their ass. So I think everyone should be able to learn a couple of maneuvers to free themselves from a threat or whatever. Now, Taylor out there says, it's a brave new world that we can now carry in New Jersey. I have no idea what the EDC loadout will be. I'm here to glean any info off the topic I can. My guess is it will be minimalist. So if you're going to be minimalist, once again, this is just me. I'm going to let Chase and Clover kind of talk. Now, Mr. H says, sorry, man, I'm carrying extra mag. Hey, man, I'm not saying don't carry an extra mag. I'm not saying that it's dumb to carry. I'm not saying that at all. You be you. You need to carry what you think you're going to need. I just don't. One, I think it's uncomfortable carrying an extra magazine. I'm just not that guy. But absolutely, if you want to carry extra magazine, then carry an extra magazine. That's what it is. Tactical Z, what do you think about the Ruger LCP Max? The Ruger LCP and the Ruger LCR families, the whole lineup are phenomenal weapons. The only thing that I will say about the LCP is I think in that micro compact pocket gun, I think nowadays there are much better options that are going to be about the same size. They're going to give you better capacity. They're going to shoot better. They're going to have a much better trigger than the 14-pound trigger that LCP has. By no means am I saying it's a bad gun. If that's what you can, that's what's in your price range, you can't go wrong with it. I just think that there are things these days, whether it's the Glock 42, Glock 43, the 43X, the P365, there's all sorts of those micro compact guns now that are going to give you better options than the LCP. Chase, as far as the LCP, sounds like Tactical Z out there might be wanting to learn some new things. He's asked about the Ruger LCP Max and the LCP family in general. What are your thoughts on the LCP and specifically the LCP Max, if you want to touch that?
I mean, so me personally,
yeah.
I've had an LCP in my pocket since they came out.
Yeah.
I will say that prior to that, I did have one of the old Keltec P3ATs.
Okay.
When the Ruger came out, that I ended up basically giving to a buddy that was moving to a not so great part of the country. And at the time, there wasn't a lot of stuff out there, you know, late 2000s, early 2010s when I did it. But I've generally had an LCP in my pocket pretty much daily since like 2009. However,
and so I would say this, Tactical Z, I'm going to call myself 5'8". My wife will say that I'm 5'7" ¾ I call myself 5'8". It is what it is. I'm sticking to that story. Chase is a much larger guy. And so the great thing about LCP is no matter what size you are, that gun is going to work for you. It'll fit my hand fine. Chase is a much bigger guy than I am, and he's been carrying one forever. So that tells you a lot about what he thinks about that gun. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I'm not anti-380. I mean, that's not like I'm not looking at that gun as a be-all, end-all, but that's a good, oh, shit, something's gone down. I got something on me. You know, it's a pocket rocket.
So are you using the LCP as a backup gun, or is that your primary carry?
No, it's a backup. I've got, you know, I carry a 365. I have since it came out. You know, like you were talking about mags earlier. It honestly depends on where I'm at and what I'm wearing that day, if I have an extra mag or not. I have holsters with sidecars, so sometimes there's an extra mag, sometimes there's not. You know, I live in Florida. It's hot. I'm in shorts and t-shirts or, you know, whatever most of the time. So generally it's the 365. If I can't, I mean, like you were saying earlier, I'm not trying to be a hero and I'm not trying to stop some major firefight. I have mine to protect my immediate, to get out of a situation if something comes up. You know,
if I have that shot and there's no threat behind it and I have a clean shot that could, am I saying I won't take that? No, but that's not my primary objective, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to Dickens drill somebody in the face, you know, that's one thing. But I'm not going to go charging across a mall to engage a dude that's on the other side when I can get my family out and keep them safe and the people around me. That's my immediate prerogative. now if a threat comes face to face, I have something to deal with it.
No doubt about it. Yeah, I'm not going 4 aisles over to be the hero. I'm going to try to get out of there. And if someone gets in my way or my family's way of getting them out or me getting out or whatever gets in my way, that's a whole nother story. But I'm not going across the store to go look for a guy. That sounds bad, but that's the whole thing is in Arkansas, I'm probably not. Okay, let's just be honest. I'm not going to be the only one carrying at that Walmart. But that's the whole idea is if we get more people to carry, then one person isn't going to have to try to quote unquote protect everyone. We should have half the people in that store should be carrying. So no matter where that person is, that he should be able, there's someone that should be around to help. If you only have one person, then I'm sorry, it's not me. I'm not gonna be John Rambo and go freaking on a CQB search for a guy in Walmart. I'm going to get my family out of there, and it is what it is. Now, once again, you get in my way of getting out, it's a whole nother issue. But yeah, Marcus says he likes staccatos. PNW Woods says, I am not Batman. Family first, exactly. Sam of Anarchy says, Ghost, keep adding, and this is great. This is going to be great for anyone, especially if you're new to EDC out there. Keep adding to your toolkits. If you can diffuse a dangerous situation without emptying your chamber, that's a great day all around. Pulling a firearm should be the last resort. Exactly. I don't know. Is Clover back? I'm not sure if he's back or not.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's back.
Yeah,
he's been in and out.
He'll be back in a sec.
So
a good point to that is like when I was running a shop and you talk to people daily, and I still do it at like some of these consumer shows and all.
Yeah.
It's all these people that want to talk about, I'll just pull it out. They're going to run away or whatever. I'm like, look, I tell people this stuff all the time. I was like, if you have a good enough reason to pull it out, you have a good enough reason.
You better use it.
It is not made to try to scare somebody off. It's not what it's for. You have it as a absolute last line. That's what it is. You're not supposed to be brandishing a firearm trying to scare somebody. That is I have exhausted all options. I have something for you now. Absolutely.
First of all, not that depending on where you are in Arkansas, nothing would happen, but technically it's probably against the law to just pull your firearm and threaten someone. Literally, it's literally against the law. That would be aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. If you just pull your gun and threaten and all of that, first of all, we don't want to do that. If like you said, if you're going to draw, you're drawing to use. You're not drawing to scare. You're not drawing to see what happens. You're drawing to end an imminent threat. And I said this before, and this has been an incredibly unpopular stance on many levels. And I have received, what's up, Georgia Rebel? I have received hatred from people, and I love it because it creates a great conversation. I personally truly believe, and it's not just me trying to be the Howard Stern or someone who's just going to put stuff out there just to get a rise. I truly believe if you're not mentally ready to take that shot if needed, then I would rather you not carry until you are mentally ready. Because if you're not mentally ready to take that shot if ever needed, and hope to God it never happens, but if you're not ready to take that shot, you're more of a threat to me than the guy who is the original threat. Because if you freeze, if you're not ready and you start freaking out with your accelerated heart rate and your breathing screwed up, chances are if you pull that trigger eventually, you're not going to come close to hitting that target, which means you're probably going to hit somebody or something behind that target, that threat. More importantly, if you freeze, you're giving that person to freak out even more and probably start pulling triggers. Even let's say a guy walks into Walmart, pulls out a gun, hasn't pulled a trigger yet, threatening people, hey, I'll give me money, blah, 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 whatever, a gas station or whatever. And you try to be the hero and you pull your gun out and try to go, police, freeze. And you're brandishing and you're pointing your gun at that bad guy and you're yelling, freeze, freeze, don't move. You're going to give that person may not have ever had any intention of firing his weapon. He was probably using it to scare people to get money. Let's just be honest. But now you've interacted with this person and you've introduced a threat to him and you freeze. What are the chances that he starts turning and tries to shoot you, which means now he's probably hitting someone behind you or whatever. So if you're not mentally ready to take that shot when needed, then personally, I'd say don't carry. You can go take a first aid class, a stop the bleed class, whatever. You can still help in that situation in other ways. But if you're not ready to take that shot, I say don't carry. And I know that's going to be a very unpopular stance, but that's just the way it is. Brandishing is illegal. Yep.
I'll say to that point.
Yeah, go ahead.
I used to tell people that all the time, like when I was selling to the general public.
Yeah.
If you don't believe you can pull the trigger, you really probably shouldn't be carrying. Period. Dot. We have people coming all the time like, oh, I just want one to feel safer. I want one to scare somebody off, whatever. You have a reason to pull it. You have a reason to use it. It's just escalated everything. If you pull a gun and then you don't use it, you freeze, like you're saying, or the simple fact that they can take it away from you and use it on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Woods out there says, I had to correct my brother about finding the tweaker that broke into his car. Not a time to pull your gun. You're not an imminent threat unless the bad guy pulls a weapon. Now, that's a whole nother issue that people don't even realize. It's a very, very fine line between a good shoot and a bad shoot. And you need to have that imminent threat available. Okay, so first of all, we talk about this all the time. No matter if it's a good clean shoot or it's a bad shoot, it doesn't matter. You draw your weapon and there's a shot fired, you're gonna get detained. At the worst, at the minimal, you're gonna get handcuffed, put into a squad car or taken to a private, and you're gonna get questioned. They're not gonna just walk up and say, "Oh, this looks like a pretty clean shoot, self-defense. Okay, go on home, sir." No. You're in for a long night. Let's just be real. You're in for a long night. You probably will get to go home later on, but it's going to be a long time before you get to go home in that situation. An imminent threat to get to deadly force is not a joke. Deadly force is a real thing. To use deadly force, there has to be an imminent threat, not an imminent threat to someone in your area. Not an imminent threat to someone in that store 17 aisles over. An imminent threat to you or your family member, okay, or whoever you're with. An imminent threat. And it doesn't mean, hey, this guy has a gun, but he's pointing it in the complete opposite direction and doesn't even know that I'm here. It's not an imminent threat, okay? Now, depending on the situation and where you are, will you get charged with something in that situation? Is that a gray area that you want to try to figure and maneuver through? I don't know. It might be for you. For me, I'm pulling the trigger if and only if a true imminent threat. There is no other option. I cannot leave. I can't get to cover and wait this thing out. There is a true imminent threat to me or my family. Then you damn right. I'm ready mentally. Trust me, I'm ready to pull a trigger. But just because you're not ready to pull a trigger, and because I tell you, and this is my opinion, and some people might agree, that if you are not ready to pull a trigger, then don't carry. that doesn't mean you have to listen to us. I'm just saying be careful, because you might have the greatest intentions in the world, but you could honestly be more dangerous if you freak out. That's just me. Now, none of us know how we're going to react unless you've been involved with that kind of a shooting. We can sit here and talk all you want, but no one's sure how they're going to react until it happens. Hopefully, we never have to have that happen. Now, I want to bring Clover in. I want to bring this up because while you were gone, we were answering a question from Tactical Z. I think he's from New Jersey, and they're just now able to start to carry up there, and he's learning about EDC and all of that stuff. And he asked a question about the Ruger LCP Max. And Chase and I talked about our thoughts on the LCP. Being someone that is, when you do carry, typically it's a 380. I know you carry a 42, but what are your thoughts on the Ruger LCP, or specifically the LCP Max, if you have any familiarization with that?
I'm okay with it. I know with Jersey, he's going to be limited in choices. So, I don't know what to suggest or say otherwise. So if that's, he's looking into that, and, he feels pretty good about that as far as, it feels good, manipulation and all of that is doable. As far as it being a firearm that you could trust your life to, I mean, it's certainly there.
It's a very serviceable firearm.
Is it going to be accurate enough for self-defense, type situations? Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Now,
what I basically said, that there's in today with the 42, the 43, the 43X, the 48, the 365, there are a lot better options out there now.
Yeah.
But the LCP is a wonderful, and you can probably find LCP for a very good price right now, and they're for the longest time. I want to say like 10 years straight, 10 maybe 20 years. At the end of the year, the LCP/LCR family of Ruger was, if not the number one selling model, it was the number two selling model every year for a long time.
Yeah, it eventually overtook
for a reason.
It eventually overtook the Bursa 380 was your number one carry for a very long time there, for many, many years. And then the LCPs came along and really gave them a run for their money. Now, you were talking about earlier about, you're going to get detained. I think it's healthy to keep that attitude and be prepared for that. But it also depends on where you live. Here,
I said it before. In Arkansas, I'm not worried about that. Yeah,
I've done ride-alongs, this, that, and the other. I know law enforcement. I know the situations firsthand where somebody has, the funeral home had to be called, right? And 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and they're out of here, right? Fill out some paperwork, take a statement, they're gone, right? And never heard a word about it otherwise. So, now, but again, if that's around here, and most stuff happens close to home. That's what they say anyway. Odds are things happen close to home. Now, if I'm off traveling or something like that, I got to be, cognizant of the fact that, I'm not at home. So, law enforcement doesn't necessarily know me, right? They may be a more liberal minded jurisdiction when it comes to, self-defense and that sort of thing.
Taylor out there says New Jersey. Oh, okay, I got it. Taylor's in New Jersey, but he says different guy. At New Jersey, they're only limited to 10 rounds, but there is no roster like California. Well, I hate the fact that you have a 10 round capacity limit, but at least there isn't the communist roster. That's a good thing over there. Sam says, think about a Glock 26 if you're looking for something small. 26 is a fantastic option. There's a ton of great options. Like I said, in the last 3 years, or let's say 5 years alone, the amount of the subcompact concealed carry pistols, this is the goal. This is the age of the subcompact carry pistol. There are so many options that are available, different sizes, different weights, different capacities, but they're all going to be either a small holster or a pocket carry type gun. Like I said, LCP is great. And if you can find an LCP for a couple $100 brand new, then for that price, I would think about it. But if you've got $400, $500, $600 for your self-defense carry gun, and let's be honest, if you have the money and you're going to buy a gun for self-defense, you want to be able to get one of the better guns that you can afford. Now, if you can afford a $200 gun, you can afford it better than having nothing. But there are options out there that I think are better than the LCP, especially come out in the last 5 years. But the LCP is a fine gun. Big Al says, what is a side flip magnifier on the wall with the AR? That is a 3x magnifier. Yes, it's right. I have that to go with my EOTech. Yes, it's a 3x magnifier. It's a flip over, so it's great. Big Al says he selects his 365. Now, when you hear 365, we're talking about if you're out there and you're new to this and you don't know what that is the Sig Sauer P365. Now, with the 365, there are multiple models within the P365 family. There's a little more capacity. There's different sights. There's different, all sorts. But the 365 family has a lot of different models, but it's a phenomenal gun. Taylor says a Shadow CR920 at the FFL. If I'm gonna go all in, there you go. Let's see here. Abby's out there. I'm not sure. Slante. I don't know. I'm not very smart, so I don't know what that means. So, but welcome. I wish I could help you. We were talking about. I forgot what we were talking
Basically
about.
It means cheers.
Oh, okay. Well, cheers. Is what language is that? Do you know, Chase?
It it comes from like
was
Ireland,
it just
Scotland.
slang?
It's sláinte.
Okay.
Or, yeah. So you hear it a lot, like in the Irish, Scottish, like Celtic regions.
I'm Scotch Irish, and I've never heard it before. So go figure. I don't know. But yeah, welcome. It is. And Taylor says it's Celtic. So yeah, and she says she's half Irish. Awesome. I had some family come over on the boat 100 and some odd years ago, probably. So pretty cool. Yeah, there's a Canic. Yeah, I mean, we talked about my rotation. My rotation's out there for anyone that wants to know. I've got a 4 or 5 gun, and a lot of people don't like a rotation. I have a 4 or 5 gun rotation that I'll carry, and it's not an everyday thing. It's usually a week or a month. I might carry the same gun for a month, and then I'll change. The reason why I do that is I have a lot of guns that are carry guns that I love, and I would rather carry all 5 of them, not at the same time, obviously, but I like to carry because why carry just one gun if you have other guns that are going to be great and you love them? I want them all to get in the lineup, and I don't want to put them in the bench and bury them in the bench in a sports analogy. But I do that because I have multiple guns that I love to carry and I love to shoot. If you are that person that only carries one gun, hey, so be it. More power to you. I have several guns that I enjoy shooting and I enjoy carrying, and that's why I have a 4 or 5 gun rotation. That, like I said, it's not changing every day. I might carry a gun for 3 or 4, 6 months, but throughout time I will rotate them through. Now she's just trying to break the internet. She's breaking the matrix out there, throwing all sorts of stuff that I can't. I'm not smart. I need picture books. When I read, I need pop-up picture books. That's how I read. So I'm sorry, I'm not very smart. Taylor says they make us qualify with the gun I'm going to carry. Is that standard practice out there in free America? Rotations sound reasonable. So I can only speak for Arkansas, and I'll let Chase and Clover talk about Texas and Florida. In Arkansas, we have constitutional carry, but if you're going to get a permit, which I do still have a permit, and I recommend a permit to those that are going to be traveling or for other reasons. But here in Arkansas, if you're going to get a permit, and if you qualify with a revolver, you can only use a revolver to carry. If you qualify with a semi-automatic, then you can carry anything. And I don't know, it's not a specific gun. It's like if I qualify with a Beretta 92, let's say, then I'm not stuck with a Beretta 92 forever. I can carry any semi-automatic or any revolver. Now, on the flip side also, if I carry and I qualify, let's just say that I want to qualify with a revolver, understanding that I can only carry a revolver in the state of Arkansas at that time, and I qualify with Smith & Wesson 686. I don't have to always carry that specific firearm. I just have to carry a revolver. But if I qualify with a semi-auto, it doesn't matter what type of gun. I can carry whatever semi-automatic revolver that I want. So here in Arkansas, you do not have to carry the exact gun that you qualify with. Clover, Chase, what about in Texas and Florida?
Texas is wide open. It doesn't matter. We have constitutional carry too, which, it's whatever with that. But should you choose to go the permitted route, there are some stipulations on what you can use to qualify. And I'm trying to think, because they've loosened the restrictions so much over the years.
Yeah.
That I think it has to be center fire, but I think that's the only restrictions to qualification in Texas anymore. But we used to have what you're talking about, that if you qualified with a revolver, you could only carry a revolver. We don't even have that anymore. It doesn't matter what you qualify with. You're as long as you take the class, basically, you're good.
Jesus, I just got thanks, Chase. I appreciate you.
Is that not scary or what?
That's yeah. Anyways,
that's real. That's the scary part.
That's real. That's not like fake.
Oh no, that's like their training class. One of their. Speaking of federal agents that will be carrying, quote unquote, federal agents.
Yeah. 87,000 new ones, my man.
I know. They're not coming for
us.
What
about in Florida? Do you guys have any? Like, do you have to carry the same gun you qualify with, or anything like that?
No. So Florida has a class and a shooting requirement. But it's not like if you shoot a revolver, you have to keep a revolver. If you shoot a semi, you have to keep a semi. It's not. You just have to have there's a shooting portion, like a quote unquote certified firearms instructor who knows their course of fire has to okay you.
And basically say you're safe and you know how to handle a weapon, and you're not going to be a threat to society just by carrying.
It's basically like the NRA basic pistol course, more or less.
From 7 yards, can you hit a silhouette target? I mean,
And they do have I don't know about some of the other states. Some do, some don't. But like Florida, if you're law enforcement or if you're military, you're veteran, whatever, you're exempt from having to take the class.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm a proponent of keeping a permit personally, because
I will always have a permit. Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah. If you travel, especially if you travel, and more and more states are becoming constitutional carry states, but there still are not. And having a permit, especially if they recognize your state's permit, allows you to carry. I'm going to be honest with you. The 99% of the reason why I still have a permit is in the state of Arkansas. If you have a concealed carry permit, now I go and get a gun at a gun shop, I still have to fill out a 4473, but I don't have to go through the background check. They don't have to call in that 4473. My concealed carry permit acts as my background check. So as soon as I get done filling that out, they go through their little thing and check off and sign off. I'm done. I don't have to wait to get the NICS system. I bypass the NICS because my concealed carry permit serves as my background check. To be honest, that's the main reason why I keep my permit, out of pure necessity to being efficient, and I'm lazy and I don't want to wait around for a 10-minute, 15, 20-minute call.
Yep. In and out. Yeah.
In and out.
That's the big thing. Like a lot of states, that your permit acts as your background check, basically.
Yep.
A good example, good difference in that is when I was in Alabama, a lot of the sheriff's departments didn't do a background check for a pistol permit. So the ATF actually rescinded the ability for the Alabama permit to be used as a secondary option.
Right.
But I saw because you had several prohibited persons were getting pistol permits because like somebody knew the deputy or sheriff or whatever.
Yep. Sam says, Ghost, is your Marine Corps sidearm that you had when you served in your rotation? So the M9, the Beretta 92. No, it's hanging on my peg wall right over there. No, I do not carry the 92 FS. Not that I don't think it's a good gun to carry. I never have. I carry inside the waist. I would not carry a 92 inside the waist. All my holsters for that thing are going to be outside the waist. I don't necessarily like carrying outside the waist. I do sometimes maybe during the wintertime when I've got a hoodie on or something like that. When I carry inside the waistband, and the 92 is not an easy gun to carry inside the waistband. So it is not in my rotation. No.
Don't lie. You live out all your Bruce Willis fantasies.
Dude, we're live. What the hell's wrong with you? Marcus says, anybody carry secondary like an ankle gun? I have an ankle holster. I think I've used it once in my life. I don't remember when it might have been years ago. I'm not a big ankle holster guy. I know that there are times like if you're wearing you're in a suit or something and it's hard to carry, and you know an ankle holster is great. As far as carrying a backup gun, whether it's a pocket gun or whatever, yeah, I've got I love it. It's in the LCP thing realm. It's the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. It's a little 380, small little 380. Throw that in the pocket, and I love it. But I don't carry ankle. I'll just if I have it, I'll throw it in my pocket, or I've got a little pocket holster for that thing. But I'll usually pocket carry a backup gun. But honestly, I can probably count on two hands the times in my life that I've carried a backup gun. Just not something I do. It's going to sound strange. I don't carry every second of every day. I don't carry everywhere I go. If it's something that I have to carry a backup gun, I'll really think about it. Do I really need it at that point? If I'm going to a place where I probably won't need it, then I usually just won't carry.
Well, and if you're going someplace that you think you might need it, you might want to choose.
I'm not going to carry
a little.
Yeah. If I'm going to a place that I might have to carry, I'm not carrying a backup gun. If I'm going to go there, I'm going to carry my normal carry gun.
Well, what I'm saying is, if it's a place that you think you need a backup gun to go with your primary, you may not want to be going to that place. Yeah,
this is true too. That's part of the situational awareness, is knowing where you're going.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
I know, Chase, you said that you carry the LCR or LCR or LCP. I can't remember, whatever it is.
Yeah, LCP.
LCP that you've been carrying that as a backup gun forever.
That's more of a staple because I had it for so long. I can drop it in a pocket and forget it. But I can promise you, between that and the 365, if I ever get into it, the 365 is what's getting used.
Yeah. Well, just let me ask you this. How often do you find yourself carrying a backup gun? And I'm not just saying just the LCP, but I'm saying as like a legitimate backup.
Like I generally have two on me, not all the time. Yes. I mean, especially where I'm at in Florida, like shorts and t-shirt, I generally just drop my LCP in my pocket, and that's the end of it.
There you go.
You know, it really where I'm at, like where I used to live, for example, like so when I lived in Montgomery, like I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, that's a place you better carry. All right.
Yeah.
Town is just it's a lot of areas aren't what they used to be, and that's one of them. And you know, everywhere I went, I had a gun on me. Like I didn't care what a sign said, unless I went through a metal detector. You better believe I had a gun on me.
Yeah,
a lot of times too, just because of the current situation. Now, where I'm at in Florida, honestly, I'm not that worried about it. Like I cannot have something on me, and I don't feel underprepared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Generally, at the least, I have LCP in my pocket.
Yep. Clove. your primary carry typically is a Glock 42, which is typically used as a backup gun, ironically. But I mean, regardless of what you're carrying, do you ever carry multiple guns?
Yeah, I mean, I have,
Yeah.
but it's rare.
Very
And
rare. Yeah, I
it's
understand.
mostly an issue. You know, I'm usually in the woods or something. It's not even
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, like I'll carry a bigger bore or something on a drop leg or something like that, and then because I'm gonna detach that probably if I go into town or if I'm doing something like that, right? So,
Yeah.
if you're out on the range, you're range duty or something. A lot of times I'll carry something larger in a drop leg, and then I've still got the 42 or whatever it might be.
Sure.
But I don't really go into town or do anything like that with a backup. Now I have carried ankle carry primary before.
Sure.
Just because it's and if you do, it's not that big of a deal, but you definitely need to train and practice with it.
Practice the draw, getting on the one knee and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
because you got to go down right, and you want to find cover anyway,
Yeah.
first. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It would be even easier. I haven't ankle carried since I
Ankle
moved.
carry is actually relatively comfortable, honestly.
Yeah, it is, and that's one of the things
It's
that I
you
like.
know.
You ain't got to worry about whether you're sitting or whatever.
Yep.
You really don't have to worry about anything like that. But what I was going to say is I actually have not ankle carried since I've moved away from jeans, and
Oh yeah.
it would be
It'd be
easier to ankle carry
easier.
now.
Yeah, it would
Oh
be
yeah,
easier
oh
with
yeah,
attack stance.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about it, I might actually carry more now
And
in
just
the
put in the
future
ankle holster. Yeah.
because I may actually start back carrying ankle again. To be honest with you.
Yep.
I'll tell you, as far as you're talking about ankle carry in the industry, a lot of dudes ankle carry because of what they have to wear, like work wise.
Yep.
Like you're at these shows,
Absolutely.
you're going, like reps going into stores and stuff. They have to have a a lot of companies require a cleaner cut appearance.
Yeah.
They
You're wearing
want you wear,
slacks and a button down shirt and a sport coat, or just a button down or golf shirt and
yeah.
slacks.
You'll notice a ton of dudes in the industry wear boots instead of dress shoes everywhere.
Yep.
With their dress clothes, and that's because they have a boot
Inside
gun
the
or
boot.
an ankle gun going on. Because of that, you see a lot of like lightweight revolvers, and you see a lot of like what we're talking about: bodyguards, LCPs, Glock
42s. Yeah.
Well, and it's not a normal place. That's not that anybody's scoping you out to see if you're carrying anyway.
But people aren't going to be looking at your ankles. Yeah.
Most
Oh
people
my
are
gosh,
not
he's
looking
printing
at
around his ankle.
right. Most
It's
people
my
are not
ankle
looking
monitor.
there.
Calm down.
I think that's a real thing. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't
Oh
pay
yeah.
that much of a notice.
And there's something out there also, if you're new to the game and all of that. We've talked about different stuff you carry in your person. And if you're one of those that want to start carrying maybe a tourniquet or some sort of an IFAC, a first aid kit, ankle, you can carry an IFAC around. They make them that fit on your ankle. And there are some companies that will have an ankle holster that on the outside of that holster, you can fit a small first aid kit or a tourniquet, so you can have all of it on one. Now, would that be bulky? Sure, but there are things out there that the ankle carry is a very, very, very valuable way to carry. Like I said, it all depends on what you're going to be doing, what you're going to be wearing, and all of that. But yeah, Clover, you're right. I mean, if you don't like carrying around the waist, or you're worried about printing, or you're worried about other things, and you wear pants, ankle carry is a very viable way to carry. And it's very comfortable. It's not, you're not going to have to worry about sitting down and being uncomfortable with that. It's a very comfortable way to carry, for sure. Now, Taylor out there says, in Arkansas, can you qualify for both semi-automatic and wheel gun? Yes. If you qualify with a semi-auto, then you automatically can carry a revolver also. If you qualify a revolver, you can only carry a revolver. If you qualify with a semi-auto, you can carry any handgun. So, You do semi-auto, you're covered with everything. Abigail says, hold on here. Good Lord, you're killing me, Clover. Let's see here. I'm going to miss this. Go back up here. Abby says, in Florida, a carry permit is a carry permit. My friend qualified that Glock 17, and he carries a Ruger GP 100. There you go. Here in Florida, you shoot 24 rounds. It's laughable. If you think that's laughable, come to Arkansas. Now, for the enhanced carry permit that allows you to carry on college campuses and bars and restaurants and government places and all of that, it's a 50-round qualification. You've got to score a certain score. For the basic concealed carry permit, there is no such thing as a how do I put this? A true qualification. There is no standard. It depends on your instructor. If you go out to the range with your instructor and you shoot 5 times and you hit a target and he feels that you're okay to carry, you shoot 5 times and you're done. They take in Arkansas, they take the shall issue very seriously. Unfortunately, because last time I got my enhanced redone, when I took my enhanced, because once you take your enhanced, it automatically stays. You never have to renew it. When I took my enhanced, I took my daughter was getting her normal concealed carry testing done, and there was a lady that literally bought her gun the day before, and she was getting her regular concealed carry permit, but bought the gun the day before and hadn't even taken it out of the box until we got to the range that next day. Had never fired a firearm in her life. To say the least, she scared me. I've only been truly scared on a range once, and that was it. I literally told the instructor, it's like, look, you need to fix that, or I will, or I'm leaving. It was borderline incredibly unsafe. It is what it is, but no, the testing here is a joke, which is fine. I want more people to carry, and all of that.
It's a joke most places, let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. A guy in her class had a group that looked like a birdshot pattern. Exactly. Snob said, way back when I took my class out, instructor provided the guns just to make it simpler. Now, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of them will do that, especially if you don't have a gun. Maybe you're trying to figure out the best gun to get for you, but you want to go ahead and get your permit because it takes a while. It's going to take you a month and a half to 2 months to get your permit in from the state. So maybe you start that process while you're looking for the gun. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I go to the range, I always have 3 or 4 guns anyway. So if anyone needs to borrow one, here you go. But yeah, I think the instructor providing, or most instructors I know around here will bring 2 or 3 guns that people can shoot if they choose to. Taylor says people are going to want to qualify the multiple guns, and it's going to create a paperwork nightmare for the local firearms officers. So since an inconvenience downtown, it eventually will go away. I think so too. I think that you talk about New Jersey that's new to this thing. I think that you will find whoever is in charge of doing all the permits and all of that stuff. If people are going to qualify with 4 different guns so they can carry all 4 guns, I think that eventually it will work out to where it'll be like most other states. If you qualify with 1, you can carry whatever. I hope that's the way it goes. Let's see here. So Abigail says the only advantage of a permit here is not having to do with a 3-day wait. 3-day wait. Man, you're speaking a different language. I don't know what a 3-day wait is.
So Florida enacted after that last school shooting in Florida after the Parkland thing.
Yeah.
They instituted a 3-day waiting period now.
So are you serious?
Florida, instead of going through the traditional NICS, it's tied into NICS, but Florida has like Florida's own background check system. and it's a 3-day wait unless you have a permit. If you have a permit, you fill out a 4473, do your thing, walk out the door.
Yeah.
But that's
so if you don't have your permit, you have a 3-day wait.
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Now I wonder, have permits gone up?
Yeah, I mean, permits have gone up in this state anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, like permits obviously went up. So, I mean, and the state controls that. It's not like a lot of places the county sheriff controls.
See, that's where we are. No, here, it's our state police that control our permits. Yeah.
Yeah, like Alabama was a good example. It was a local sheriff controlled it, and so they had jurisdiction.
I wish that was the case. I wish that was the case here, but it's not. Now, G says, going on vacation, road trip, going to be sitting, main gun is pinned to your waist, a backup is handy on ankle or shoulders. We haven't even talked about shoulder carry. I have a couple shoulder holsters over here. I'm not a fan of them. I think that they work in very specific circumstance. You're wearing a sport coat or a coat during the wintertime. If you I know around here, Clover and Chase, you guys jump in here. By the way, I'm just bullshitting. You guys can talk. Around here, a lot of the motorcycle guys wear shoulder holsters, which I think is probably actually a pretty decent idea. But yeah, I don't dislike shoulder holsters. I just don't ever have too many circumstances that I'm wearing. Like, I don't wear jackets during the winter time. I wear hoodies, or I wear like pullover fleeces or something. So I don't wear like jackets. During the summertime, I'm sure as hell not wearing jackets. I don't wear sport coats very often. So for me, the shoulder holster, there's very few opportunities in my life that I would probably have to wear a shoulder holster. I've got a couple just in case, but I'm trying to think. I don't think I've actually ever carried with a shoulder holster. What do you guys think about shoulder holsters?
I'm not anti shoulder holster personally.
No.
Like, some of the shoulder rigs are, really good looking rigs or whatever, but it's not for me. Same thing for you. Like, where I'm at now, it doesn't ever get cold enough to really need it, like, a couple weeks out of the year anyway. Yeah. And like I've generally got a hoodie or like a fleece pullover or something like that on. So it's not feasible for me. And if I'm in something like a sport coat or something, I can appendix carry, I can pocket carry, I can put it on an ankle. I'm not running a shoulder rig. And shoulder rigs are generally for bigger frame guns anyway. I don't personally want to put a mid-size, full-size gun on a shoulder rig and all that extra weight. Plus, anybody who's never worn a shoulder rig for a long time, they're hot. They're not super comfortable after a while.
They're not comfortable. Yeah.
They're just not. I know everybody see all
now, I think if you wear them all the time, I guess you probably just like anything else, you get used to it. But for me, a shoulder holster is just not comfortable.
Dude, the cringiest thing I used to it's just maybe go, ugh, is every time somebody would come in and it was always some junk gun. Half the time it was, some 30-year-old hunk of crap. And they were like, they would buy an Uncle Mike's shoulder rig, and that's how they planned on carrying. And it was like always like some like third tier wannabe security guard or just, dude straight out.
Don't mess with tier 9 operators. Don't mess with them.
And I was just like, you can get a really good holster for like $30, man, and just not worry about that crap, but whatever.
So I've got, I don't even know what brand it is. I think it might be a Blackhawk or something. I've got like the nylon tactical shoulder holster. And then I've got, I think it's a DeSantis, whatever, a nice leather one.
I do have a Galco Miami Classic.
And a really good leather shoulder holster looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks good. I just don't have anyone. No, they're not. But I would never wear them. Now, maybe if I open carried one day, just for the hell of it, might open carry the shoulder holster. That'd be kind of interesting, Go like the Boogaloo Hawaiian shirt with the shoulder holster and throw the 92 in there or something. And because I think it's a universal holster on mine, on the leather one. Now the nylon one has I've got it hooked up to where you can change out holsters through a quick lock mechanism. so I can put whatever holster I want on there through the QLS system. But the leather one, I think, is pretty much like a universal holster. It can hold kind of whatever you want.
Yeah,
That might be a cool thing, though.
That's why a lot of the nylons and stuff was. Like mine was like it's patterned for 1911, and it I had the really pretty like cognac tan Galco, the Miami Classic, and I bought
that's kind of what color I think is mine. Was it DeSantis or DeSantis, whatever is what it's called. I think that's what that. But it's that really it's pretty.
I bought it for giggles. I wore it in my old shop a couple times and stuff like that. Just for that's really and truly what it was.
I can't remember his name. Sean, what's the guy's name? Clover from Alien Gear that does their live stuff, their live stream all the time.
Oh crap!
Well, he used to. It's not Sean, but Shane maybe. Whatever his name. He always wore a shoulder holster. He never had a gun in it. He just wore a shoulder holster like every day. It was a nice leather one, but he never had a gun in it. Matter of fact, I think he had like a magazine in it. Didn't have a gun, but maybe that's where he kept this. But he wore it on top of everything. He just wore it around, but he never had a gun in it. It's like, is that like your purse? I don't know. Anyways, go ahead.
Most shoulder holsters are horizontal carry. Usually only the big.
I'm not a huge horizontal carry guy.
And so, either way, my problem with doing that and doing it open. Now, if it's under a jacket or under an outer shirt that's unbuttoned or something like that, that's one thing. But I have seen issues with people in the public, let's just say public disturbance type issues.
Sure.
People walking around with straight up open carry shoulder holsters that were horizontal. Yep. And that was the thing, was that everybody was getting muzzle flashed. And I get it. The hammer's down in the safety zone and this, and I get it.
You even snap over across the hammer. I get it.
Understand firearms and all of that. And let's be honest, are you going to walk up behind somebody that's flagging you, even though it's in a holster? I mean, I'm probably not.
I was gonna say I can't. That's one thing I can't stand is like getting behind somebody's got a shoulder rig on and you're like looking down the barrel of a 45 or whatever.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
No, I'll go with a vertical. I like a good vertical, and they're harder to find. They're usually more expensive to find a vertical shoulder holster, and maybe that's why I don't like. I said earlier the shoulder holster
are a pain in the neck to draw from too.
They are, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I also say that shoulder holsters aren't comfortable. Maybe the horizontal shoulder holsters are more comfortable than I don't know. But yeah. Now G-Web says he often travels in a tuxedo because he's not low class. That's fair. He's wearing a tuxedo in the van, and that's a great look. Yeah.
I will say I like the chest rig like holsters, like for being out, like doing work on property.
Chest rigs are great.
Or something like that, out hunting. Those things are awesome.
Yep.
I'm not going to walk around every day with one on.
Yeah.
You could.
You could.
They hide really well, especially under a hoodie.
Yeah.
Or a zip.
But at that point, if you're wearing a hoodie and you're wearing a chest rig and you're wearing a hoodie over it, you're going to have to bring that hoodie all the way up to draw. So
you can go through the neck.
Well, I guess you could.
You can still get to it if you have to, but a zip up windbreaker,
maybe the chest rig might be your backup gun. It might not be your primary carry,
But it's really good for like around property and like I said, hunting, and that's one of the main things for them.
Yeah, let me ask you this: with your chest rig that you've got, Clove, is it a universal holster or is it firearm specific?
No, all of mine are, and I have several. All of them are firearm specific.
Now, can you exchange holsters onto that, or is it you buy that chest rig for that particular gun?
Yeah, they're either straight up like leather and Kydex, or they're straight up like neoprene and Kydex, and it's all molded too. And so
all right.
Yeah, there's no swapping out.
So you're buying a chest rig for literally a specific gun.
Yeah, let's go with that wordage. Yeah, but no.
Sure. No, I hear you. Yeah. Let's see here. Taylor says, this may sound crazy, used to keep a chest rig bedside with an FN F09T 509T for the bump in the night situation.
Yeah.
I got no problem with that. Let's see here, and he's
Crazy.
right. Keeps both hands available for flashlight. Absolutely. Let's see here. I'm not sure what he's talking about. That's awfully MVE of you. I must have said something earlier. Mandatory carries. Also, my Uncle Mike's shoulder holster is doubled up and rigged to his gun belt. So that's another thing we don't talk about our battle belts or war belts, or whatever you want to call them, gun belts. Some people will have a battle belt beside the bed and throw that on there and all that. Here's a piece of EDC equipment that very few people ever think about. Okay. And I carry some just because they're really small and they're easy too, but do either of you guys ever carry any Hearing Pro in your pockets just in case?
No.
If they're the little foamies or whatever.
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah.
I already got tinnitus. Screw it. Let's make it worse.
I have in my vehicle. I don't carry it in my pocket a lot, but I sometimes, if I know I'm going to the range that day, I'll throw them in my pockets. I'll forget about them and all that. But I've got several pair of the decibels, the molded little plugs that go in the ear, which are great. They're cheap and they're phenomenal.
No, I've got stuff in the vehicle. Sure.
Yeah, in the truck.
I'm in the vehicle all the time. But what I'm saying is those are my favorite. So if I get up in the morning and I think that, hey, there's a chance I might go to the range this afternoon, I'll go ahead and throw those in my pocket because I'll know I'll forget them. I'll forget to come home and grab them or whatever and all of that. But those are, if there are people that are worried about that, you can go to Walmart and get those little orange foamies for nothing. And I mean, if you want to carry them in your pocket, you can, but always have at least 2 or 3 different types of Hearing Pro in your vehicles at all times.
Yeah, in my little go bag and in the truck, I always have like the little Surefire Sonic Defenders because they have that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just throw it in and go.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Let me try to catch up here. If it's in a holster, 99 times out of 100, it'll probably be safe, Abigail says. G Webs is still on the tux thing. He says white tux. You can't see the dog hairs as much. That's true. The white dog and a white tux, yeah, you'll probably be safe. CNT says I'm a thong and flip-flop kind of a guy myself. Inside the waist is the way to go. If you're wearing a thong, then there is no good way to carry. First of all, if you're wearing a thong, then that's a whole nother conversation we have to have. I'm just saying. I think he might be thinking the thongs like the flip-flop thongs. But when you say a thong and flip-flop, I'm picturing like a thong and wearing flip-flops. And if you're wearing a thong, there is no way to carry. Although I'd like to see you maybe if you're wearing a thong and flip-flops, I would like to see you in a nice shoulder holster. That would be a great look. Or even an ankle holster with your flip-flops. That's a great look. Just saying. Please make that happen out there, CNT. Yeah, and Weston brings up chest rigs again. They're good for having a lot of clothes on, like hunting. Yeah, I would say, Clover, you talk about when you go hunt a lot, sometimes you'll do a drop leg. Would you consider doing a drop leg and a chest rig when you're hunting to, be able to carry multiple handguns if you need to? Or would you choose the chest rig over a drop leg if you're going hunt now? Because you've been getting to the chest rigs the last couple of years.
Yeah, I honestly go more with a chest rig now than I would a drop leg. Yeah, without a doubt. It keeps it out of the way. I mean, it's in front of you, so it's easier to get to. It's not down low, so you're not snagging on brush or anything else. It's just all around better. I mean, if you trip and fall and got to catch yourself, you're not going to fall on it, or it's just chest rig is that's the way to go in my opinion.
Yeah. Taylor says, thanks, guys. Great discussions. Can't tell you what a thrill it is to finally be in the discussion. Never thought it would ever happen. I'll be back. Stay safe. Welcome to the dark side of the concealed carry, everyday carry in New Jersey. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Marcus says he'd rather wear a chest rig than a shoulder for sure. Let's see here. Abby says my battle belt is a blue Alpha Gear belt with Safariland ALS holster, med kit, and spare mags. My battle belt is a Wilder Tactical. I've got 2 AR magazine holsters on it, 2 pistol mag holders. I have a drop leg that's a Safariland QLS system on it. It's not here. It's in my vehicle, or I'd show you. I've got a video on it if you want to check it out. And then a med kit in the back. And I got that Wilder Tactical. I used to carry I don't remember what kind it was. It might have been Black Hawk or something, the battle belt that I had that I used for a long time. And I picked this one up. Clover, you remember we were in at the gathering. It's the gathering. Yeah, it was the gathering down in South Carolina. I picked up the Wilder Tactical belt, and me and Josh were in there putting it together and all that and all that. But yeah, Wilder Tactical, it's a phenomenal belt. It's expensive, I'm not gonna lie. It's like a $600 job, but it gives you everything. It's got the inner belt. It's got, I mean, it's got everything you want. But there are battle belt systems you can get for under $100 for sure. And if anyone tells you that Black Hawk makes a bad one, or Safariland makes a bad one, or whatever, because they're not as expensive as others, that's crap. The Blue Alpha Gear makes they make all their stuff is pretty good. But there's a lot if you're interested in battle belt. Now, battle belts they're not a necessity. And I don't wear them for home defense or anything. I keep mine in the car. I use them for training and stuff like that. But I want to say that my other one was, I don't even know where that one is now. I got to find it. I might set it up for something else, but I think it was a Black Hawk. Either Black Hawk or Safariland. I can't remember, but I've had that for years, and it was a great one. So, yeah. Weston says, worst case, I use my Bluetooth earbuds. Yeah. So you're talking about EarPro at that point. Sure. Let's see here. G23 says, I got a lot of foam earplugs for free from work. Yeah, I got a whole case of them in my vehicle that I hand out to people. G-Webs.
Stop scrolling some stuff.
What's that? Am I way behind?
No, I just saw the comments start popping up. I was like, "What you been looking at while we're talking?"
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on some of these comments. Abby says her mag pouch or HSGI taco pouches with the rifle pistol combo. So I have my AR here, and then in front are my pistol. They're not separate. They're separate, but I've attached them to the front of my AR mag. So they're also, all of my mags are within right here. So a pistol and AR mags are right there. So yeah. Blue Alpha, she said
good stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, she says her battle belt was 150. Yeah, and Blue Alpha Gear, they make really good quality stuff. But I'll say this: if and once again, guys, I don't know why you're not just jumping and talking. You can, please feel free to do this. But if you're out there and for some reason you're thinking about getting into the battle belt game, and you don't want to go spend $150 to $600 on a battle belt setup, it sounds crazy. Go to Amazon and just type in battle belt. You can find a battle belt for probably $15, $20. Find a couple AR mags and a couple pistol mags or whatever, and a holster that will attach to it or whatever. You can probably get in all of that for less than $50, and just see if you like the setup of a battle belt for training or whatever it is you're using it for. Before you go and spend a lot of money, you can get all that stuff for cheap and just try it out. Okay. Great thing about that is if you do like it and you do want to eventually upgrade, now you've got a second one that someone else can use, or as another, backup battle belt or whatever. But don't just jump in and buy a $600 battle belt setup if you've never used one, because you may not like it. A lot of people don't like it. I personally do. But a lot of people may not. So there's no reason to jump in on that if you're out there. go to Amazon or something like that, or go to your local gun shop, and they might have some used ones. Like, I don't know about you guys, Clover or Chase, but my local gun shop that I go to all the time, they've got a big trash can that people come and just throw in old holsters in there, and you can get them for like $1 or $5 out of this. They're used, but people, I mean, I should probably do that because there's no telling how many holsters I've got here. But they've got shoulder rigs, chest rigs, drop legs, battle belts, and all that. And it's this huge trash can, and you just sift through it, and they're marked from anywhere from $1 to $5 because they're free. The people just donate them, and the gun shop's going to get $1 or $5 off of you. But go check some of that stuff out. Go check out some new stuff. If you have friends that have done a lot of training, chances are they probably have a battle belt set up. Ask them if they have an old one they're not using anymore, not to have, but just to try for a while to see if it's something you might like. But don't jump in, because you can jump in pretty steeply on a setup if you're not careful. But try them out first. But there's a lot of companies out there that make really, really good stuff for a good price. Let's see here. The bots are back, but I think they're taken care of. This is the medical I have on the battle belt cost. Yeah, and if you go get a really good med kit or a trauma kit, they probably are going to cost more than the belt. Chances are your holster is going to cost, a good holster is going to cost more than the belt. But yeah, Gunsnow says Core makes a really nice battle belt for a fair price. I think Core Essentials, I love their ratchet belts. That's what I wear every day. Core Essentials makes really good. I've never used their battle belt, so I wouldn't be able to speak on that, but I trust Snob, and Snob, I trust his opinion. So yeah, he says it's a good one, then they probably are. And Core, I can speak for Core Essential, great belts, but I've never used their battle belt for sure. There's one thing we never talked about. My God, how did we not talk about, at least not having it on your person, but at least having it in maybe your go bag or your vehicle, a multi-tool. Hell, a multi-tool, everyone should have a multi-tool. Let's just be honest. Multi-tools are, and you can get them for a couple bucks at Harbor Freight, or you can spend $100 on one, depending on what you want. But yeah, a multi-tool should be part of everybody's. They should have one in their vehicle or something. Go ahead.
So Bass Pro and Cabela's, which are the same. You go there, they have bins literally usually in the aisle with their knives, their brand, right?
Mhm.
Their knives
Mhm.
and their multi-tools. Their knives on one side, multi-tools on the other. They're generally about $10. Those multi-tools, those multi-tools, I don't know this for sure, and maybe somebody does, but they certainly look like they're made by Gerber.
Oh yeah.
And they're not a full size multi-tool as well.
Okay.
They're, I would
Like a
say,
minimalist almost.
yeah, they're almost like, maybe they're not like the mini things you see that Gerber makes, right? The micro tools. They're not like that. But I would say they're maybe half to 3/4 the size, of a normal, what you would consider a normal multi-tool. So they're a little bit smaller profile, great for the console, the glove box, that sort of thing. And for $10, I mean, or even thrown in your pocket for that matter. But for for $10, you cannot beat those things. They're awesome. I own several of those. And in fact, when we went on the road trip, stopped in Bass Pro, we picked up 2 for my daughter and my son-in-law.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to pass that up when you
A
walk
$10
around.
multi-tool? Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
knowing the
Because
quality.
even if you lose one, you're not out 50, $60 or $100 like some of them are, That's great.
And they're good quality stuff for $10 for sure.
100%. Sam says, Ghost, so EDC knives, do you guys prefer folders or fixed blades or both? For EDC, I prefer folders, and I'm most people that know me, most of the knives I carry on a daily are folders, folding karambits. I love a karambit. It's my favorite knife, but definitely a folding karambit for EDC, or just any, here's another one here, just a little pocket knife. I'm a big folder for EDC. In my bag, I have 3 fixed blades. I love fixed blades, but I don't usually use them for carry every day on my person. If they're going to be on me in my pocket, it's going to be a folder for me personally. In my bag, I'll always have a couple fixed blades for sure. Clove, chase. Let's talk about on your person. Are you guys more fixed blades or folders?
Folder, and typically not a very high dollar folder. The one I go to most often, not that I don't get a high dollar one, and at least for a little while I'll carry it. But the one I have gone back to lately is a Kershaw, and I think it's what's it called? The hot wire. I think it's called the Kershaw hot wire, maybe. And it's a fairly small little, assisted open folder. I love the blade on it. I love the minimalist aspect of it. And it was, I want to say it was like $10 or something. It wasn't high dollar by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm sitting here looking at that. Does that look familiar to you?
Yeah. Well,
yeah. That's a Kershaw. I don't know if it's a hot wire or not, but
it's not. The blade is not. It's about that size. It might be a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But
this is a Kershaw, but this is definitely a great knife. Hot
wire. Yeah.
But I'm looking at the hot wire and it's the same design as far as everything else. Is the blade style is a little different, but I'm not sure what this one's called. It doesn't have like
a little bit thinner blade and all on the hot wire. That's why I said the hot wire may be a little smaller.
Yeah, it's got a relatively long blade for a folder on this. But Kershaw makes good stuff. There's all sorts of great companies out there. And once again, you don't have to go and spend some of the best knives I have. I've gotten for $10 or less. You don't have to go and spend $250 for a nice little Foley knife, but I prefer folders for person. Chase, what about you?
I'm a folder for an EDC, and I'm a 100% self-admitted knife whore. Have been way before I was a gun whore, and I have expensive knife taste. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like I rotate knives around. Like I carry different knives all the time, because I like them and I like to carry them. I mean, I might be carrying a $100 knife one day. I might be carrying a $600 knife the next day. It just depends on what I feel like. But
now, will you ever carry a $10 knife?
No.
There you go. That's okay.
I'm not knocking somebody who does. It's whatever.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's just some people have to. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to carry. I tell people all the time. I get not everybody's going to spend crazy money on whatever. What we're talking about a minute ago. A good Kershaw for $30 to $50, dude, you can't beat it.
Can't beat it for the price. Yeah.
Sub $100, like a Benchmade grip, like a mini grip or Griptilian is one of the best knives on the market. Lifetime warranties. You can't hurt them. I'm not saying everybody's got to carry an Emerson or a Medford or a Chris Reeve or something crazy. I mean, if you do, more power to you. I mean, I know dudes that carry $2,000 one-off customs and stuff.
Or
it's
case.
all what you're into. Yeah,
some high dollar case stuff out there.
High dollar case. I know guys that carry like McHenry Williams. That kind of stuff. Very their works of art. They're as much as they're a tool.
And they're custom made specifically for them.
Yeah, but I carry knives that are what I consider tool knives that are still extremely high quality. They're still works of art with themselves. But like my Chris Reeve, for example, I don't have the super inlaid like micarta and pretty stuff. Mine's a standard Sabenza titanium. I've got a few Medfords that are absolute tanks. I mean, I could custom out a truck with that thing. They're heavy for most people. They wouldn't carry them, but I carry a Benchmade Osborne all the time. I carry that probably more than anything. Couple $100, can't kill it. Lifetime warranty. It cuts anything I want it to. I'm all about better quality construction and the steel. Basically something that just lasts forever.
Are you a Damascus guy? I'm a huge Damascus guy. I love
Damascus. Look wise, I don't normally carry a Damascus knife. I've got a few Damascus knives. I got a few Damascus kitchen knives that I use a lot. Yeah, but that's not like my everyday. I like, harder tool steels, the different, S30V, S6, stuff like that, something's hard. I carried for a long time a Benchmade Auto Adamas it was D2, but that thing was a tank. It was an auto. It was just a standard folder, but it was an auto, and that thing was heavy, but it never would stop. And the way I looked at it, for around a $200 knife, if something happened to it, I wasn't upset. If something happened to it, I wasn't scared to use it, abuse it, whatever. And it still holds up, still hanging out just fine.
Yep. I think Man Against the Masses wins the internet tonight. He says, I carry a Band-Aid in my wallet. Does that count? Absolutely it does. You never know when a Band-Aid could literally save a life. Just saying. Yeah. Abigail says, my EDC knife is a CRKT Fossil. Are you familiar with that one, Chase?
Yeah, I mean, CRKs are good little knives. CRKs, are good
knives.
knives.
I don't know what a Fossil model is. Are you familiar with that?
They got so many now. It's not funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, CRKTs, Kershaws. I mean, there's a lot of really good knives for not a lot of money out there.
Yep. Gary says the Elementrum is his EDC at the moment, but he does rotate I rotate through about 2 or 3 different knives, but they're all I'll always have a folding karambit. If it's on my person, it's going to be a folding karambit. I've got bigger ones, smaller ones, but yeah, I'm a karambit guy, and I'm not a snob. Like this one, I think was like $30. I've got one that was more. Obviously, I got some that are less, but I don't know why. I've always loved a karambit. So yeah, if it's on my person, it's going to be a karambit folding for sure. What do you guys think about SOGs? I got a couple SOGs that are decent knives. Matter of fact, there's one on my rig over here. It's a fixed blade. SOG, I don't mind SOGs. A lot of people like SOGs are kind of like the for me, they're the Olights of the knife world. You either love them or hate them. And I'm not saying I love them, but I do have some SOGs. They're not my favorite, but they're definitely not my least favorite knives. I think they're pretty good for what they are. And there's some really high end SOGs as well. But I think SOGs get a bad rap because they're SOG. But I don't dislike SOGs. What do you guys think of them?
Some of the SOGs are great little knives for what they are. I mean, I've got one of the first gen Seal Pups that thing has hung around forever. It's a good little knife. I've got one of the SOG Tomahawks, like a hatchet Tomahawks that I've had for years. I've cut all kinds of crap with that thing, just using it. To me, it's like SOGs are like Kershaws and the CRKTs, and that's not they're good entry level knives for somebody for what they are. Yeah.
And they're not going to fail you when you need them the most. They may not be able to do what others can do, but they won't fail you if you have to use it. So
I've got, SOG is one of those things that I don't know. It's just that they're really common, available a lot of places. And I've got a Tomahawk, I've got a machete, I've got several folders. I think I've got a couple fixed blades. But the interesting thing about SOG for me is one of my favorite knives is a assisted open stiletto that is marked SOG that I got off eBay because it just looked so freaking cool. And in fact, I used it today. It's a fake. That thing is, and I actually talked to SOG about it one year at SHOT Show to confirm it. But I looked at every SOG catalog for as long as I could find it. And it was not in a single SOG catalog nowhere. No, it's totally fake. But it is an awesome knife, though. It is so freaking
Chai SOG.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And it wasn't super cheap. It was like, it was free shipping. It was like $19.99 or something. But it looked so cool. It's like I got to buy that. I got to buy that. And then I got it in. I didn't even give any thought to if it was real or not. And then I got it in. And I mean, it come in a box that had the label and the logo and everything. It's got the logo etched into the blade. But it is not.
Yep. Sam says he just ordered the Spyderco Efficient with the brown G10 grips. Took fence 3 years and taught for 1. So 5160 is a special place in my heart. Talking about the mini barrage, Snob and Gary R. Mario's out there. What's up, Mario? Now, G23 says if you dislike the SOG and you have some, you can send it to me and I'll make sure they have a good home. 100%. You'll never hear me talk bad about SOG. I just think that SOG is like an Olight. You know, it's just either you like them or you don't. And most of the time, when you don't like them, it's, I don't know, but it is what it is. I want to see what that Efficient looks like. Spyderco Efficient. I like Spyderco. Spyderco is another one that you can get for, you know, good prices that are decent knives. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Little drop point. 3-inch drop point, $57. There you go. That's not bad at all. Yeah, Spyderco's not bad at all. Let's see here. He doesn't like the whole. I get it. I mean, you know, and see, here's the things. Everyone has a different look that they like. Some people have different. I mean, a lot of people don't like karambits. It is what it is. They don't like the look or the feel of a karambit. They don't like a fighting knife. This is not a worker's knife. It's a combat. It's a fighting knife. Let's just be honest. But like I like Tontos. I like it. You know, drop point's good. My favorite blade's probably a Tonto. But everyone there are so many different blade types and blade characteristics and all that. Every company has their own little niche where some might have a hole in the blade or whatever. I get it. But that's the wonderful thing about knives is there is something out there for literally anyone that you can find, whether it's folding, fixed, assisted, whatever on auto blade, in whatever blade style that you could possibly ever want. And you can find them anywhere from $10 to $1,000. They literally have anything and everything that you could possibly find in the knife world. And I promise you this. What's that?
I was going to say, I would tell anybody who's a knife, like a remote knife guy, if they ever have a chance, just once in your life, go to Blade Show and see the insane.
And that's one down in Atlanta.
Yeah. They do a Blade Show
would
west
love to go there.
Like they do a west side of the country Blade Show. It's not quite as big as the traditional Atlanta show, but just it's not really expensive to go, but everybody should go to it once just to see the insane amount of options out there. You'll find
here's the go ahead. Sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just saying it's just so much stuff out there. I mean, if you're trying to decide on what you think you like we're talking about karambits and all this other stuff, that is the opportunity to go try everything.
You know, here's the bad thing about knives. If you ever I think everyone probably has a knife they can go get for a couple dollars at Walmart. But if you ever take the time and do research and buy yourself, and I'm not talking about a $300 knife, I'm talking like a $50 knife, but you take the time to research what style you like, what grip you like, what blade style you like, what size, what weight, all of that stuff. You take the time and actually find a knife that you really do like. I promise you the bad thing about knives is you will end up with 100 of them. That's just the way it goes. And you will have some that are $5 all the way up to a couple hundred or more or whatever. But that's the thing about knives is you can't just have one. It's just one of those things where if you get into knives, you get into knives. And I would love to go to Atlanta to Blade Show. That would be amazing. Even if it's just for a day or so, that would be awesome to go there. But yeah, let's see here. Sam says, "What karambit is that?" So this is a attack force, TAC force, TAC force, it's just attack force. Got a little girth to it, little weight to it, which I like. But yeah, this is attack force. Once again, probably a $40, $50 knife, nothing outrageous, and all of that. And Snob is right. Once you go buy a good knife, and a good knife, once again, could mean a $50 or $100 knife. It doesn't mean it has to be a $500 knife, but a good knife, even if it's a $50 knife, you're not going to usually go back to the $5 knife. Unless you're just buying a $5 knife to have to roam around, in the cars or in drawers or whatever. But yeah, once you get a good knife, very rarely will you go back to a cheap knife. Clove, I'm going to go with you. And I know we've talked about this before. I don't know if it was on the show or if it was a personal, private conversation. Do you have a specific style of blade or type of blade that you like the most, or does the blade design really matter to you?
Blade design for me is like everything.
Okay.
So typically, like a drop point, maybe a spear point. I want like a
Ooh, yeah,
smooth
sure.
flow to the blade. I don't
Now,
want
do you like the spear point to be double edged or single edged?
It really doesn't make me
Okay.
much difference on that.
You just like the design of the
But
spearhead.
I want the profile.
Okay.
I want the profile to be fairly smooth, and then I don't like a super wide blade.
Yep. Okay.
Either, and then
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of serrations as well. So
Okay. At all, for any reason?
they have their purpose. And I'm not.
Like
I'm not
like
going to
on
turn
a
down
survival knife or a Rambo knife. If you were buying a Rambo
not
or
even on
survival
that.
knife, you wouldn't.
Not
Okay.
even on that, because I'm a big
Interesting.
fan of Bowie knives. Right? They don't have no serrations.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
But and then a lot of the K bars don't have. So you can get K bars with or without.
Sure. Yeah.
I get them without. So I mean, I'm not a, but that's not a deal breaker. Like serrations is not a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
It's just if I can, all things equal, if they have a version with serrations and have one without, everything else
You're
is
gonna grab
identical.
one without.
I
Yeah.
grab the one without. Yeah, without a doubt. It won't be a deal breaker if there's not that option. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I typically am a big Tonto fan. Blade. I love the Tonto blade. Always a Karamitz. For me, though, a good drop point's phenomenal. I've got some spearhead. I've got probably one of everything throughout the years. But I would say Tonto or drop point for me are pretty much the go-to. But I'll say this. There are blades there are knives that I see some places that I go that I don't know if it's the way it was designed or it's the handle and the grip design. I don't know. But there are knives that are beautiful to me that I probably wouldn't necessarily like the blade in a different setup. But I'm always finding, knives are beautiful pieces of work. They really are. But yeah, I get what you're saying is there are certain things that are automatically going to draw my eye. Different blades, different designs that are automatically going to say that's a good looking knife. But yeah, getting into knives can be dangerous. Chase, I'm going to bring you back in. I know you had to step away for a second, but do you have a particular blade design style that you like the most, or do you really don't care on the design?
So like on my everyday carry knives, like I have, like we were talking before, and like you're just saying, I have tons of blade styles. I have a couple Karamitz as well, that kind of thing. But as an everyday knife, it's a drop point. It's
drop point. Just a basic drop point.
Yeah. Points, piles of, a lot of Tontos, whatever. But as an everyday knife, it's drop point. And like Clover was saying, it's a non-serrated. The vast majority of my fixed blades are non-serrated. I just don't like dealing with the sharpening of a serrated blade, to be totally honest.
No, I like serrated blades in more of a, now some are going to call them hunting knives. I'll call them survival knives or like Rambo knives, multi-task, big old honker knives. They're going to be able to do a lot of things. But on everyday like pocket knives, especially if they're folding or whatever, I'm not a big serration guy, but I'm not going to Put it this way, I'm not going to not buy a knife that I like just because it has serrations. Now, there are specific knives that I do want serrations on, but they're for specific reasons. So it is what it is. Marcus out there says, yeah, God, that's 2.5 hours. Holy shit. I just looked at the time. Had no idea. We're going to get out of here in a minute, guys. Marcus says, am I the only one that carries a compass in the EDC bag? Phones die if I get lost. My dad taught me to tell time with the sun. Okay, so in my EDC bag, I do not carry a compass. I do have a compass in another bag that's in the vehicle. But my everyday carry, I do not. What about you guys? Compass, are they part of your EDC lineup or no?
Not my EDC, but I do like in my
survival go bag. Yeah, exactly.
I have, I do have a compass in there.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely not on my EDC.
No, I will say I've always been very good at navigating anyway.
Yep, I'm the same way.
So I have a very good sense of cardinal direction and how to get where I'm going to begin with. But as a just in case, I do keep a compass in my go bag.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, mandatory carry says, Marcus, where are you going that you need a compass for EDC? I think that's kind of funny. Chloe, what about you? Compass in your EDC? Do you or have you carried a compass in your EDC lineup?
No, on my person or anything like that. But I mean, obviously, yeah, in the bug out in the vehicle type thing. Yeah.
Yep. Snob says, I like serrated blades to cut bread. Does that count? Absolutely, it does. Marcus, hey, and I get it. We're not saying you shouldn't carry a compass, guys. And I'm not saying you're an idiot, Marcus. But Marcus, like I said, I'm the only one. Dad taught me always be prepared. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I get it. Hey, compass is just not something that I think about for everyday carry. Like I said, in the go bag and all that, that's in the vehicle at all times. There absolutely is, but yeah, I don't.
I believe most of us. I was going to say, I believe most of us are the age we all owned at some point the flea market Rambo knockoff,
the green
knife with a compass
the knife on the grip. Absolutely.
Yeah. Come on now, 100%. Everybody had one of those. You had your little flint and matches, and you had your little, chainsaw, all that stuff in there. Come on,
Ooh.
We all had that.
I like it. So G23 just sent me a text of his folding karambit. I'm gonna see if I can. That is a pretty sweet looking knife right there. Where'd you get that, bud? I might have to go grab me one of those. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, let me know where you got that if you don't mind, if you remember where you got it for sure. Let's see here. Anyway, so yeah, 2.5 hours. I had literally no idea. My God. Sorry, folks. We went longer than we usually do. And I usually go pretty long, but 2.5 hours is a great conversation. I enjoyed it. Before we get out of here, Clove, Chase, you guys have anything EDC topic wise that we haven't brought up or that you think people should be aware of, or anything that you want to comment on what we've talked about tonight as far as EDC stuff goes? Anything loose ends we need to clean up?
Thank you, Andy.
Okay.
Nah, all right. We covered a lot.
We covered a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Honestly, go get a med rig. Go get trained. If you're carrying something to make holes, get something to plug holes.
Yep. The great thing about first aid and stop the bleed classes, most of the time, your local EMT or hospital will give free first aid, CPR, and stop the bleed classes. Free. They want people to be trained out there. So we brought in our EMT service and we gave a stop the bleed class earlier, maybe like in March or February, whenever it was. We had like 30 some odd people show up to that at the range that we, me and the sheriff and we're involved with. And we brought our local EMT guys in. They brought tourniquets for everyone for free, like they handed them out. Matter of fact, they only brought like 25 of them. We didn't think we were going to have that many. And there was a few of them that say, hey, stop by the office tomorrow. We'll give you, they only brought like 24 of them. And we had over 30 people show up for that, which was awesome. But yeah, stop the bleed, first aid, and CPR classes. you can literally typically find classes for free. And if you're not ready, we talked about earlier, if you're not ready to carry a gun because you're not ready to pull that trigger, even if you are ready to pull that gun and use that trigger, use that gun and pull that trigger, learn Stop the Bleed, learn how to use a tourniquet, learn how to use an Israeli bandage, use how to use a clotting substance, go get first aid, learn how to do CPR. You know, if like Chase said, if you're willing to put a hole through someone, you need to learn how to plug that hole. And you need to learn that the most important person in a active shooter might be someone with medical experience that can, revive someone, keep someone alive until the ambulance gets there, plug those holes, be able to stop the bleed. They're just as important as the people with the firearms. So absolutely. And most of the time, like I said, those classes are free. So, Gun Snob says, tell Chase I said hi, even though he forgot about me. So Snob says hi. You must have forgot about him.
Tell him I have not forgot. He's on his list now. I have not forgotten about anybody. We have just been so swamped right now.
You've been a little busy. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Since we talked to a bunch of people at NRA, I haven't stopped. And hopefully that's going to change here soon a little bit. It's going after August, it'll kind of slow down for a little bit for me, thankfully.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hope so for you. Chase, we just kind of did it, but in case you guys didn't know, Chase is a big wig with EAA. They import Gerson and several other companies. I know that you were at a show for buyer groups this weekend, but as far as EAA goes, what's coming down the line or what's out there that people need to be aware of with what you guys are bringing in?
Well, I mean, since we're, talking about EDC, we got the new
there you go.
P35 PI, which is like a detective model high power coming here soon. So you basically looking at a 3/4 inch shorter barrel and slide, like what the very small number of like FN detectives and the FEGs out of Argentina. It's that. Nice. So that pertains to what we're talking about tonight. That's the new hotness coming.
The PI. And if you're looking for maybe an EDC 1911, the SC Ultimate or the 1911 SC, the 9mm 1911, those things are pretty badass also.
We had a lot of those ordered at the show, the 9 and 45.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So I did shoot the 45 in Alabama because they didn't bring the 9mm magazines, but but those are phenomenal. The SCs are phenomenal. Little carry 1911s, little, if you will, for those that are out there, snub nose 1911s, if you want to call them that. But they're awesome guns. They're really good. Obviously the PI, the P35 PI is out there, but EAAcorp.com. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there in the chat. Copy. I'll put the EAAs out there for you, their website. They got all sorts of awesome stuff, not just handguns. They got different brands, and there was shotguns and all of that stuff. Gerson, if you've heard of Gerson, which most of you have, phenomenal guns, and you wonder where Gerson are coming from, they're coming from EAA. So go check them out. Mandatory carry, $10. Keep fighting. Thank you for reminding me, Boomer. You're welcome, my friend. My favorite weirdo out there, mandatory carry, and I say that with love. He's different, but he's different in a good way, and he's a good person. So, and I want to say hi to Fix out there, because Fix is a good person for staying with him for sure. Clove, if you were to do anything, I think he's still on vacation. I think he took that 2-week vacation, Chase. And I think he's going to turn that into until SHOT Show of next year. But if Clover, if you were to come back and do some shit, what would something be that you could be doing?
Well, podcast will kick back off next week? So week from tomorrow. So got that going. Video dropped Friday. A video will drop this Friday. So I'm doing a little bit here and there.
Yep. And do you want to plug?
Hey, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. You shared that earlier, and I haven't even went to over there to see. I mean, it being no more.
I'm a
subs than all that
baseball
it
guy,
is.
and I'm also a card guy. I'm more of a baseball card than other sports. I'm a huge
Yeah.
baseball card guy. And
Well-
it was so funny because when you started that channel a year or so ago, you and I had some very, very long conversations, and it brought back really fond, great memories
know, right?
of baseball cards to me.
Yeah,
And
that's why I enjoy doing
and I
it,
love
man.
that. I love that. So if
I
you guys
don't-
are into sports cards, go check out Clover Tech Cards for sure. Go ahead.
Well, you're still into sports, right? I'm not.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so,
Yep.
I mean, I know some of the big names, and I don't keep up, but I mean, obviously there's things you can't miss, right? And
Right.
so, but what I love about that is mostly the vintage stuff. Is mostly what I'm doing.
It reminds you of when you were watching baseball or
even if you
basketball.
were,
Yeah.
I mean, if you grew up and watched baseball in the '80s and '90s,
Yeah.
then you may enjoy that because you get to reminisce and see some of those players from back in the day and
King Griffey
all that
Jr.
kind of stuff.
rookies and Jordan rookies, or George Brett
I ain't pulled
rookies.
no Jordan rookies, and I won't be pulling any Jordan rookies. But
Yeah. Well,
those packs are about. Oh man, I think those packs are like 5 figures.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah.
Like certified authentic. I mean, and you run a risk
Mhm.
if you don't get them certified authentic, but I think they're in the
Right.
5 figures per pack for those. So won't be any of those on the channel. But but I mean, there's certainly Hall of Famers. We do pull some Jordans over there from time to time. Not
Oh
rookies,
yeah,
but
we've had some Jordans. Yeah.
always fun, and even pulled some very interesting cards. There was one that you remember, the Lyle and Eric Menendez.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They're in the background.
There's actually a card that was oh man, I can't.
They were in the background in this. Yeah,
Mark. His first name was Mark. Was a player.
So Mark Price.
Mark Price. I think it's Mark Price. I think it's
the
Mark
Cleveland
Price.
Cavaliers.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's Mark Price, but in the in the background of his card is there's Lyle and Eric on the front row, and they actually pulled that card in the Series 2 release. So
because of everything went on. Okay, interesting.
Well, no, but I don't know why they pulled it, but that was a pulled. So I don't remember exactly why. I'm not gonna lie about it, but
I wonder if that was about the same time the trial started, though.
Here's the other thing about that is how many people threw the Mark Price? Who cares? How many people threw those cards away? Right?
Yeah, and now they're worth whatever.
The number of them out there because nobody really realized, hey, that's Lyle and Eric in the front row, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then there's another one, Sam something. I can't even remember now.
Basketball or what?
Yeah, it's basketball.
Sam Bowie, Sam Vincent.
Sam Vincent, I want to say is what it is. And it is we talked about this.
Sams that I knew.
They changed
three
this
Sams
one.
I were Sam Bowie, Sam Vincent, or Sam Cassell. Those are the only 3 Sams that I remember in basketball.
They changed this card. They changed this card in Series 2 as well because I told you this story. Somebody stole, or for whatever reason, Jordan showed up and did not have his jersey. And he played in what was it, number 13 or number 16 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he is on that Sam Vincent card, blocking or whatever, Sam Vincent in a jersey in
a different jersey. Yeah.
Yeah. And because, again, nobody give a crap about Sam Vincent, so a bunch of people threw those away. And then somebody realized, whoa, wait a minute, that was that time Jordan wore a different jersey. And so, there's just cool things like that from back in the day that, like I said, you can reminisce about. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a huge baseball guy, but baseball cards were a big part of my life. From 1970, the year I was born, 1975, all the way up to 1989. I have multiple complete sets of every year of Topps baseball cards. And I have multiple, and I said, like, I have multiple, it's still in the box, but I had other ones that I had put in, like, the binders with the individual card sleeves, and we did all that. Clover knows a couple things about those cards that no one else knows. I won't bring up, but yeah, those are a big part of my life growing up, and there's some money wrapped up in there somewhere if I ever got a chance to look at everything. But every baseball card from 1970. There was tops, 1975 all the way to 1989.
So
there's a
since we're
lot
down,
of really big cards in those sets as well.
Since we're down the sports rabbit hole,
I mean, fuck it, let's go. I had nothing
there are
else to
some
do.
people, and again, I'm not. You know me. I know some of the modern names and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
really follow anything. But a lot of hoopla lately,
Yep.
because people were prospecting, and even you and I talked about this. Fernando Tatis Jr.
Sure.
Oh
Yep.
my God, with what's going on now, like people are
Yep.
jumping his cards left, right, and center, man. They're
And
like,
you'll
he's
be able
gonna
to pick them up, and
They're
you never
like,
know. Yep.
he's going to be another Bonds. They're like, he'll never make it to the Hall now. It's like prospecting on him is like done. That's what most people are saying now.
But if you're willing to take a chance at picking up some of those cards for on the cheap right now, I mean, you never know what happens. You know what I'm saying?
This
You
is
never
true.
know. There was one that I was happy that I helped you with last year. You got a football pack, and you were going through some, and you brought up a player that
Micah Parsons,
is Micah Parsons.
defensive
I said, "Ooh,
player, defensive rookie of the year."
Now this is like 2 months into the season. I said, hold on to that one because I bet you because the way he's playing right now, he very well could win defensive rookie of the year. And you're like, really? And I was like, I'm telling you, it's early, but that might be worth. And I think you're able to get rid of. Maybe you had multiple. I think you sold one for quite a bit of money. Did you not?
I got like $250 to $300 for that card. Yeah.
Out of a $5, or $10, break or whatever. But
I don't remember what it was, something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where you never know what you're gonna have. You never know what you're gonna have. So yeah. There was one of the most famous baseball cards ever was a guy named Billy Ripken. And Billy Ripken was famous for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. One, he was Cal Ripken's brother. And 2, he had a baseball card. I want to say it was 84, maybe 85.
89 Fleer. 89 Fleer.
89?
Yeah.
You sure it was 89?
I'm
anyway, so he's
because there's multiple versions of that card.
Oh yeah. They did photoshopping before photoshopping was around, but the original on the heel of the bat, he wrote "fuck you."
No,
and they didn't. What?
Face
what?
F face.
No, the original was "fuck you."
No, it wasn't. It was F face.
Yes. Go look it up. Because I've got it.
But it is. It is.
Again. Is it fuckface? I don't remember. Okay, it might be fuckface. Okay, but I have one of those actually. But then they came back later in the season and they did one of them was like what do you call it? A scribble. They had another one that came out was like the blurred. One of them, it was like Photoshop before Photoshop existed, is what they did with this card.
Yeah,
but the
like
fact
4 or 5
did not catch that. Yeah, before they did not catch it originally is hilarious to me. Like I said, he's famous for 2, not because he was a good player. He's Cal Ripken's brother and the fuckface card.
Well,
but
there are so errors are cool, right? That's one of the things on some builders I'm always looking for. Like there's one that has it's in 90 score. It's a Ryan Sandberg, and I can't remember what Ryan Sandberg played third base, right?
Second. Played
second base. Okay. He played second, and it says third base on the card.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And there's one in that same set that's on the back. If you flip it over, it's got their number and all this. It's Bo Jackson, but it's got his player number wrong. And there's some
16, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some, it's like 25 or something is what it had. But anyway, you go back into the 80s, there's actually some cards, and actually into the 90s, there's a few that have the wrong player. One of the most famous is a 90,
they'll have the wrong players and stats for the wrong player. Yeah.
Oh, the wrong picture. It ain't even that guy. Like, there's a 90 Don Russ card, and this is interesting because they're both Hall of Famers now. But there's a 1990 Don Russ baseball card that is Tom Glavine, his picture, but it says John Smoltz. And it's interesting because they're both Hall of Fame, right? So it's like That's really
And
kind
they
of
were
cool.
both with the Braves at the time, I'm sure.
This is true. Yeah, they were both. Yeah, and that's probably where the mix-up occurred. But yeah, it's clearly Tom Glavine, but it says John
Yeah.
Sports.
So I want to publicly. This is going to hurt. God knows it's going to hurt. I'm going to publicly admit that Clover is right on this. It is Google confirmed. It is fuck face, not fuck you. So I want to publicly say, Clover, I apologize for doubting you.
Come on. I wouldn't have a card channel if I didn't know my vintage cards. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, don't ask me about the new stuff.
Right. But, yeah, and I love cards, and especially that era. Yeah, if you like sports, it's not just baseball. He's got football, basketball. He got some hockey. He got all sorts of shit on that channel.
Yeah.
Star
James
Wars.
Bond.
Yeah. Forgot about the James Bond cards. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, go check out Clover Cat cards. Yeah, Lucky Charms. If Lucky Charms ever came out with cars, he'd probably have some of those too. Yeah.
Did you know they're
Cheerios.
still doing Garbage Pail Kids?
Wait, what? They're redoing it?
There's modern Garbage Pail Kid cards. Yes.
I did not know that.
I thought that stopped in like 85.
I did not know until like 3 or 4 days ago, but I've seen some.
I'm not going to lie, bro.
I've seen some packs online.
A ton of Garbage Pail Kids cards back in the day.
I did too. It was the most delicious gum, by the way, in case anybody ever didn't know that.
Sir,
baseball card gum was like, Garbage Pail Kid gum was pretty good.
I enjoyed the baseball card gum. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
It was terrible, but you chewed it anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I pulled so last season or last year, whatever you want to call it, right? I pulled, and I think I did it live. And some folks out there listening, they maybe even they joined me. I don't remember. I know we had a few people live, but I had a pack of 89 Bowman that we ripped, and I made the stupid thing like, if we pull the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie, I'll chew the gum.
Yeah.
Guess what came up? And I'm going to tell you what, that was a weird experience with 1989, however many years old that is, gum. It was no longer gum. It was basically just like dissolved in your mouth. It was almost like one of them Listerine strips. It was weird.
Just in case Snob hadn't noticed, I cut the hair, buddy. His hair is no more. So I'm back to a normal middle-aged man's haircut. I haven't seen you freaking since SHOT Show. No, I saw you at the Gathering. Gathering's the last time I saw you, so it's been March. So yeah, I cut it off about a month or so ago. I got tired of it. But yeah. Anyways, all right, God, we're getting out of here. One, I got to piss bad. But two, we've been going on for 2 hours and 47 minutes. There's still 11 people watching this shit. This train wreck. Good Lord. If you're in replay or in podcast form, you made it this far, God bless you. God bless you. But thank you so much, Chase, Clove. Thanks for coming in as always. Chase, I hope you get back home safely without any delays and get to relax a little bit. Clove, I hope you don't get to relax because hell, your life is a vacation. So thanks for coming on, buddy. As always, Chase, as always like having you. The Battle Pup says hi. More importantly, get out there and be more proficient with your firearms. Take someone new to the range. Make sure that they have a fun, safe first experience. They could become our allies. More importantly, guys, enjoy your freedoms that we have as an American, including those to keep and bear arms. We'll see you soon. Semper Fi.